You're watching the UAC on ESPN. It is homecoming week in Stephenville, Texas, with all the pageantry, all the tradition that comes with Tarleton State University. They've got one of the best teams in the country. Number 3, Tarleton State brings in the West Georgia Wolves out of Carrollton, Georgia. And welcome inside, along with former North Texas quarterback LaDarren McClain. I'm John Little. Kendra Sheehan will be on along in just a moment. Great to have you with us. And for Tarleton State, they have breezed through the competition, especially the FCS side of it this year. But Tarleton State feels like West Georgia is probably the best FCS team they've played all season.
Yeah, when you look at the Wolves, this might be the more disciplined and more structured team that they've faced the entire season under Coach Joel Taylor. And listen, they've got a defense that plays pretty well. They're 15th in the nation in rush defense, and so that's going to be a nice matchup against the Texans' high-powered offense. It's going to be fun to watch tonight, John.
It absolutely is. You know, last week in a big loss to ACU, Coach Taylor thought they got away from the running game way too fast. That's why Latrell Morrell is going to be huge tonight.
Yeah, he's going to have a big game tonight. Yes, only 19 yards rushing last week against Abilene Christian. He's averaging nearly 5.5 yards per rush. And whoever goes at quarterback, and we think it's Widener, he has got to be the focal point in this offense to take pressure off the quarterback having to throw the ball downfield.
Meanwhile, for Tarleton State, they were banged up last week in a win over Utah Tech. Down 7 starters, but they just keep rolling with talented guys like quarterback turned running back James Page.
Yeah, it's this offense just keeps getting better and better. It's like a new toy they've got on offense, John. And when you look at James Page, 114 yards rushing on 30 carries. He had 4 touchdowns. And oh, by the way, he threw a touchdown pass to have 5 total. Listen, it's just plenty getting better for this offense and another weapon at their use.
Absolutely incredible. Now, on the other side, West Georgia has really had trouble with injuries as well, especially at the quarterback spot. Kendra Sheehan, third member of our crew, joins us now. Kendra, who's it going to be tonight for West Georgia?
West Georgia should get a boost from their QB1, Davin Widener, back in the lineup after missing the last 2 weeks with an upper body injury. Head coach Joel Taylor told me he's obviously fired up to have Widener back in the lineup because of what he allows this offense to do. Being that dual threat quarterback, he utilizes his legs, he picks up that extra yardage, and he brings out the best in everyone around him. Guys.
Awesome, thanks so much. And you know, in his stead, Colton Fitzgerald was pretty good last week. Didn't turn the ball over, threw for 279. But Davin Widener brings that dual threat ability for West Georgia. On the other side, for Tarleton State, 4 weeks ago, their starting quarterback, Victor Gabalis, went down in the first quarter in a win over Chattanooga, and they get him back tonight. That is huge for Tarleton State.
Yeah, I think that is as good as it gets. Now, keep in mind, Daniel Reed is fantastic, but there's a reason why Victor Gabalis was the slated starter at the beginning of the year, and he was off to one of the better seasons that you've seen at the SCS level in some time. So, yes, it is a welcome boost for an offense that's already good with riches.
West Georgia kicking off into the wind, and there is just enough to get into the end zone. Tarleton State will take it out at the 25-yard line. And welcome back to number 11, Victor Gabalis. As you mentioned, just an unbelievable start to the season. 12 touchdowns through the air, no picks, no fumbles either. There are his numbers in just about a quarter and a half in the blowout win over Chattanooga. He is one of the best quarterbacks at this level.
Yeah, and it's something about the experience that he has in the offense. He just continues to get better and better. Now, keep in mind, this offense always adds weapons around him. So if he can get into his rhythm, this offense will continue to roll like it's been rolling the entire season.
And James Page gets the start at running back again. He came to Tarleton State as a quarterback. James Page, he's from Noonan, Georgia, which is just 23 miles away from Carrollton, where West Georgia is located. And so he gets a chance to have a big game against a team not only from his home state, but from just down the road.
Now that just shows you how talented he is, right? To make that transition to the running back position. And it's a lot of little nuances that you have to have back there. He seems to pick it up well. 3 yards on first down, and then it blows open on second down. And he finishes this run. James Page picks up 8 and a first down to the 36. Well, that's exactly how they want to get this game started, John. They want to get this running game going. And once they establish that, once this offensive line can get their sea legs and control the line of scrimmage, that's when you're going to start to see that play action pass and start taking shots as this defensive back start to creep up and play a little tighter coverage.
Right now, 2 high safeties for West Georgia, and Gabalis goes deep to the middle, threads the needle, and it is Cody Jackson. Jackson, run after catch, the ball comes free, and it is recovered by Tarleton State. That was a fumble, but Tarleton State has it down at the 27-yard line of West Georgia.
Man, I'm telling you what, Victor Gabalis probably throws the best routes in terms of the skinny post. That little deep, it's almost like a long slant route. He throws that better than anybody in the country, in my opinion.
Tarleton State retains the football after the catch, run, fumble, and recovery. A 2-yard pickup for James Page down to the 25-yard line. And early on in this one, Victor Gabalis looks dialed in. He's already hitting on 62% of his passes this year. 2nd down and 8 for Tarleton State. Gabalis on play action, slant route, puts it right on Cody Jackson. Jackson 2 hands on the football as he makes it inside the 10, stopped at the 9. It is a gain of 16, 1st and goal, Tarleton State.
You can just see right off the bat, Cody Jackson is probably one of the better route runners on this Texans offense. That's 2 times in a row he's got an inside position on a defensive back that has inside leverage by the way, and he's been able to get open.
Tarleton State's been great in the red zone this season. Page looking for his blockers and runs right up the middle. A pickup of 3 yards down to the 6-yard line. 2nd down and goal.
You know, every defense that comes into this stadium and the opening drive that the Texans do, it's almost like it takes them by surprise, John. Just like that, the Texans are marching right down the field like we've seen them do time and time again. It's just tough to prepare during the week for opposing defenses to get ready.
4th highest scoring team in the nation, more than 47 points a game. 2nd and goal from the 6. Again, Page puts his foot in the ground, down to the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal from there. One thing Tarleton State has added over the last couple weeks is a package with 3 tight ends. They can put James Page out there taking the direct snap if they want to. They're not using it here, but that's something that the defense had to prepare for this week.
I've always felt like that was the next step in this offense, as exotic they can get in the passing game. Sometimes it just get tougher than the opposing defense. Put some big boys out there on the field and man up.
10 men in the box for West Georgia. Handoff, Page trying to break to the right. Page extending to the end zone. Touchdown, Tarleton State. Some big plays through the air and ground and pound inside the 10. The Texans take the lead on homecoming.
Yeah, I thought the defense had it read pretty well. It just didn't keep outside contain, and that just shows you the versatility right there of James Page to be able to bounce it inside and then go outside quickly, and it was a foot race to the pylon there.
An 8-play, 75-yard drive for Tarleton State, finished off by James Page. The extra point by Larson added. The Texans are off and galloping at home. How about James Page? Remember, this guy is basically the 4th string running back. You could even say 5th, because to start the season, you had Tylen Hines, right? Got hurt against Portland State. Trey Page is down. Caleb Lewis not available. Braylon Bridges listed on the depth chart. He's got a balky knee. James Page is the 5th running back on this team, and he's doing this.
Well, it just speaks volumes to Coach Whitney and his staff and how they recruit, right? They recruit guys to be starters. And it's apparent by this time, James Page, it's his turn, and he's relished in this position, man, and this offense just keeps on trucking.
James Page absolutely trucking. 6 carries for 22 and a score. Last week he had 4 touchdowns on the ground. It's his 6th already on the ground this season. And how about this for Tarleton State? They have 3 different running backs with at least 6 touchdowns rushing this year.
I think that's incredible. I mean, you mentioned the 4th scoring offense in the nation. Total offense-wise, they're 11th in the country, and you just don't do that by accident. You better have some depth. You better have some guys that can absolutely go, and right there on this opening drive, just proving you why this is one of the top teams in the nation.
With the wind behind them, this kickoff barely stays in the field of play and goes out of bounds at the 1. Great field position for the West Georgia Wolves, and welcome back to Davin Widener. They thought he might be able to go against ACU last week. He was not able to play through that shoulder injury, but he's back today, and boy, does West Georgia need him, and they hope to make it a shootout.
Yeah, you know what? The versatility in this offense, they kind of missed it the last week, and I agree. Colton Fitzgerald, I thought, played a pretty good game. 279 yards passing and a touchdown against Abilene Christian, but Widener gives them a little bit of something else, right? It gives them the run-pass option. He gives a little bit of physicality playing quarterback at 6'5", 220 pounds.
And will they be able to run the football against Tarleton State? Texans have 8 in the box. That's Buchanan in motion. Instead, the handoff to Latrell Morrell, bounding off the right side and driven back after a 3-yard pickup. Morrell, the third-year sophomore out of Douglasville, Georgia. Over the first 3 weeks of the season, LD, he ran for 415 yards. Over the last 4, only 179. He's one of the impact players we're watching, but he just hasn't been as impactful over the last 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, and that's where these defenses have been game planning to stop him, and that's sometimes where you need the quarterback to back him off a little bit. But I think they have to remain committed to Morrell, and that's going to be a test for offensive coordinator Austin Davis.
Widener on play action, going up the sideline, one-on-one coverage, it's intercepted! And welcome back, Cassius Kearns with blanketing coverage. On Jordan Dees, Cassius Kearns makes his team-leading 4th interception of the season, and Tarleton State takes over.
I was looking at this. It looks like the receiver, Jordan Dees, actually had a step on Kearns, but you want to talk about one of the more athletic interceptions like this to stretch out and make that play. That is fantastic defense, excellent coverage.
Todd Whitten says pound for pound, Cassius Kearns might be the best player on his team. He got hurt in the same game that Victor Gabalis did, and they've missed him over the last few weeks.
Absolutely. That's why this defense is historically always good at all 3 levels of the defense. And sometimes when you lose a player like Kearns, it limits you on what you can do in coverage-wise. Good to have him back. That's a good sign there, making that INT.
Tarleton State, as the INT is being confirmed, and they are going to put it at the 39-yard line. Tarleton State makes their 20th takeaway of the season. That leads all Division I teams, not just FCS, but FBS as well. Already 7-0 Tarleton State, and the Texans take over at their own 39 after the interception. Trey Page is in as the running back, but Gabalis is going up the sideline, and just too much oomph on that one in the direction of Trayvon West.
That's a little bit of a tougher throw because he's on the opposite hash and now going back to the opposite sideline.
Coverage by Kiari McGlure, the senior out of Mineola, Florida.
Well, if the Wolves are going to continue to play man-to-man on the outside, strap in, because that's going to be the MO for this offense, is to attack and exploit the man-on-man coverages on the outside.
Look at all the defenders standing up on the rush, and Gabalis is hit, and he is going down at the 35-yard line. He tried to stay up, but he wasn't allowed to. Several players there, but Leslie Black was the first to make contact on the sack. West Georgia leads the UAC now with 20 sacks on the year.
Yeah, watch the rush. It comes right up in the middle, and this is the worst place for a quarterback to get pressure, is right in front of his face. And you're right, out the side there, Leslie Black and Courtney Kelly, kind of tag team at the end of that there.
Tarleton State facing a 3rd down and 13. Texans 47% on 3rd this season. Pocket holds up, Gabalis deep to the left. It's intercepted for the first time this year. It's McGlure down the right sideline. Keandre McGlure still on his feet with a spin and taken down at the 27. For the first time this season, with the flag down, Victor Gabalis is picked off, and the Wolves make a big defensive play pending the penalty flag.
What an outstanding play by McGlure. This is the first time this pass just sails on it. And Victor Gabalis so good at throwing those deep slants or those deep kind of skinny posts. He's got the pass way too high on that one there. McGlure just picked that thing off.
The ruling on the field is an interception. During the return, holding, intercepting team number 12. 10-yard penalty. It's 1st down, West Georgia.
That's exactly what the Wolves needed, though, as Victor Gabalis has a great first drive, but the second drive ends in an interception.
Yeah, he didn't really get any pressure. That just passed just high. That's all it is, and it's great defense here.
On the field.
It looked like they were going to bring pressure, and then at the snap of the ball, John, they back out, and it was kind of like a little zone blitz, if you will, and it caught the quarterback out of position there.
Kiari McGlure comes up with his second interception of the season. Tarleton State leads early in Stephenville. Welcome back into Stephenville after the penalty following the interception. West Georgia takes over. Great field position at the 47-yard line on the first drive of the game. Davin Widener was picked off. He offers it here to his running back, and Latrell Morrell slow to get up after gaining 5 yards into Tarleton State territory, but Morrell down in a prone position.
Injury timeout to an offensive player.
And that offensive player is the monster playmaker for West Georgia, Latrell Morrell.
Well, it always looks like he might have fell on the football.
And you hope that's all it is.
Yeah, you hope that's it. Now, when they typically do that, they'll pull the chest plate away from his body, but I don't know. He's definitely in some pain. Let's see the end of this run. A little stretch zone play. Nice little hole there. He cuts back in there, and it happens as he's falling to the ground.
Well, as they check on Morrell, we'll step away as well in Stephenville. It's been an historic season for Tarleton State, their best start in Division I. Of course, the Texans in double overtime went to Michie Stadium and knocked off Army 30-27. You know, there has been some Twitter infighting over the past couple weeks. Who should be the third best team in the country behind North Dakota State and South Dakota State? Well, you know, Montana State and Oregon, that's how that one went. And then as Montana stepped out of FCS play and played a Division II team, they took care of business. But in the end, you got a lot of good teams in FCS. They're going to get seeded how they're going to get seeded, and they're going to play for a championship, and the best team's going to win. So I don't understand all the fighting personally, but it's happening. So that,
I agree.
That is our attempt to talk about that. On 2nd down and 4, TJ Lester bounding forward on his first carry. Wonderful freshman out of Milton, Georgia with a pro mentality.
Absolutely. The UAC Freshman of the Week, Week 2 against Nichols. This is a highly capable running back. And yes, you definitely want Morrell in the game, absolutely. But if you're going to have to go to your next guy, this is the perfect guy in this offense to certainly help the Wolves get it done.
Latrell Morrell, if you're just joining us, limped out of the game. Ken Rashian's checking on his ability. Each team has turned it over once. Tarleton State has a 2-yard rushing touchdown from James Page. And here's the quarterback run game. We knew we'd see a lot of this if Davin Widener was able. And Widener is able to take it down to the 32 for a pickup at 5. And Tarleton State was very concerned about their ability to defend the zone read.
It's the one little kryptonite to the defense of the Texans. I think this is one of the more balanced defenses in all levels. We talked about that. They can do a lot of different things, but for whatever reason, when there is a quarterback that can use his legs in the read option game, it does put this defense in a predicament that they're not accustomed to, and they have not been able to solve it.
Yeah, they've been gashed at times. A handoff to Lester, but he is headed off. No gain on the play. Pushed back as the line was set by Brandon Tolbert, the big defensive end out of Columbus, Georgia. Another Georgia guy getting in there for Tarleton State.
Yeah. You know, I really like Tolbert's game. He's just one of these physical athletics freaks, if you will. You know, he's playing the defensive end in a 3-4 defense, so you've got to be a big brawler. And that's exactly what Brandon Tolbert is. He can take on blockers, and he wreaks havoc in the backfield.
And middle linebacker A.J. Owens in there as well. It's 3rd down and 5 for West Georgia at the 32 of Tarleton State. Could be 4-down territory as well for Widener and company. Great pocket. Widener has all day, but he runs right into Angelo Anderson, who makes the sack. And Tarleton State may have just killed the drive with a 10-yard sack.
Now they come at you in waves on this defense. Angelo Anderson listed as the outside linebacker, but essentially the defensive end. And he just stays on his track, and he's matched up one-on-one with Cedric Richardson, and Richardson can hold him for only so long, but then the quarterback spins right back into number 14's arms, and that's a sack.
I love Cedric Richardson, a super athletic right tackle who started the first 2 games. Now he's back in the starting lineup. And it is punting time after the sack.
That's a good kick right there.
And that's going to die and take a Tarleton State roll, but be killed at the 14-yard line.
On the field.
And that's where the Tarleton State Texans take over. line could only hold out so long against Angelo Anderson. The transfer from Tulane went to that great high school, John Curtis, in New Orleans, LD, and man, he has been great as a transfer for Tarleton State.
Boy, he just fits this defensive scheme so perfectly, and Tyrone Nix can kind of move him either side. He leads the teams with sacks, now 7 sacks on the season.
He's been a big play guy. And Tarleton State getting the sack on 3rd down to kill the West Georgia drive after Victor Gabales threw his first interception of the season. Tarleton State backed up at the 14. The snap wasn't bad, but mishandled by Gabales. That throws off the timing, and James Page is thrown for a loss of 2 back to the 12-yard line.
Yeah, just kind of got into him a little high for Gabales and just never really corralled it well, and that just shows you this defensive front, how active that they can be. If you're off your timing, even with running the ball, you've got some guys up front there like Courtney Kelly again making a play in the backfield.
The Wolves have stopped the run most of the season. On 2nd down and 12, Gabales on play action, plenty of time. On the comeback, he finds Trayvon West along the sideline, breaks away for a 1st down. Trayvon West, the transfer from OU out to the 32-yard line, a gain of 20.
Yeah, that's a really nice route on the outside by Trayvon West. A good throw again by Gabales. That's one of the other good throws that he can make, that deep comeback to the sideline. It's always coming out on time, and it's good accuracy, and it gives these receivers a chance to make guys miss like West just did there.
So Tarleton State out of their own end after the 20-yard completion to the former 4-star recruit. On 1st down, Page, a burst, little stiff arm, and James Page, the converted quarterback, takes it for 7 yards. Be 2nd and 3.
Well, this defense is trying to mess up the blocking scheme. They're trying to have all their defensive linemen, the front 7, if you will, stand up in a 2-point stance. And really, it typically messes up the count for the offensive line, but that time they matched up well.
Another run for Page. He's able to slither into the line, fall forward. That's a 1st down. For West Georgia, they've got an athletic defense, and Tarleton State head coach Todd Whitten said that's the reason their rush defense has been so good. As you look at the numbers on James Page this season, he gets over 50 carries for the year, and he is surprisingly been a big part of this rush offense for Tarleton State. On 1st down, Gabales pulls it back all day, deep to the post, arcing pass for Cody Jackson, incomplete. Contact and no call as that ball hung up there forever, and Jalen Burton dislodges it. 2nd down.
Hey, how about that crafty move by Jalen Burton? Now, he may have gotten away with one. He's going to reach around, and he's going to pull this arm of Cody Jackson at the very end. You may see it right there. That little bitty hit there is enough to get the receiver's timing on his stride off, because that pass was on the money, so he had to get a little crafty to make that defense there. That's a good crafty play by Burton.
And veteran move for the transfer out of Bowling Green, Jalen Burton with his 5th pass breakup of the season. James Page takes it for 3. It leaves a 3rd down and 7 for Tarleton State.
If you want to play defensive back at this level, especially college football, you better come up with some tricks, because the talent is insane, right? And especially if you're playing against the Texans group of skilled players, you better try to get away with something in this game. Otherwise, you're going to continue to get burnt deep.
Watch for Peyton Kramer on 3rd down, 13 in the right slot. He's been Victor Gabales' favorite target this season. On 3rd and 7, though, he's going left, and it's through the hands of Trayvon West. He was open on the slant route, but it slips right through his grasp. McGlure was in on the coverage. 4th down and punting time for Tarleton State.
Well, here they go. They've got everybody coming. I like the timing of this blitz. The defensive coordinator, Woody Blevins, and defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator, Trip Weaver, they called this blitz perfectly. And it gets the timing off on the pass, and that ball sails just a little bit again for Gabales. And that's what you want. This defense has to get off the field on 3rd down. One of the best offenses in the nation converting 3rd downs.
And hey, West Georgia says we've been
Number
second best
93
defense.
is now wearing number 4 for Tarleton. Number 93 is now wearing number 4.
I think they mean number 4 is wearing 93 for West Georgia, because DeAndre Buchanan is the return man wearing number 93. for the West Georgia Wolves.
Correction. That is for West Georgia. The number change is for West Georgia.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Go.
Jeremy
They
Tate.
heard you.
Jeremy Tate.
They heard you.
So, time to punt for
Number
Tarleton
9
State.
is now wearing number 96 for Tarleton. Number 9 is now wearing number 96.
So, Tarleton State can have 2 9s on the field. On to punt, Charlie Mullen. Able to get it away. By the way, the wind is behind Mullen here. And the fair catch is made by DeAndre Buchanan at the 18-yard line. Latrell Morrell went down on the second drive of the game. And we are wondering about his ability. He's such a great player at running back for West Georgia. With more on his availability, here's Kendra Sheehan.
Key running back Latrell Morrell went down with an apparent lower leg issue. He did go into the medical tent. Fellow running back Bryce Hicks went in there to check on him. He came out with his helmet on and he's slowly walking up and down the field, apparently able to put full weight on it, and we should see him in the remainder of the game, guys.
Kendra, thanks so much. That would be huge for West Georgia. He's been the bell cow back this season so far. So a new set of downs, down by 7, cut back by the freshman TJ Lester, and he grinds forward as well. He's not just a speed back. He's got breakaway speed, but he can finish runs too. That's 7 yards for TJ Lester.
Yeah, and that's a really nice run too. And that's a great push by the offensive line. They run on that left side. Sam Regina, the senior left guard. He's a preseason second team all-conference player.
Look at this unbalanced line, LD, off to the right. And it breaks wide open, and just a trip there by Tarleton State's Brandon Tolbert is what kept TJ Lester from getting into the defensive backfield, but it's enough for the first down out to the 28.
Now, this offensive line is not overly big, compared to what Tarleton State has on their offensive line. They average about 286 per man up front. Now, this defensive line for Tarleton is averaging about 290. And so that is a big dispersion, but they are technically sound. And so this is going to be a nice matchup in the trenches throughout this game tonight.
New set of downs. Widener on play action. Up the sideline, some hand fighting, and it's incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Owen Dupree up that right sideline. But the big 6'4" corner, Jabari Hawkins, had him stride for stride.
Yeah, just the length alone just makes you just look at him and say, yes, that's an NFL scout's dream. Just 6'4", 195 pounds, and the speed and ball skills that he has. And that's a problem for a lot of receivers because he matchups against anybody that any opposing offense can have at their skill position level.
Second down and 10 for West Georgia. Big room on the left side, but TJ Lester is cut down by Giovanni Melidor. Melidor cracking in from the side. It could have been a much bigger run, but it goes for 8, 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, this rush defense, for the Texans is starting to just give in just a little bit more than what we typically come accustomed to. They're 6th in the UAC of rush defense. That's not the standard. The standard is always in the top 3, and right now you're seeing the Wolves kind of benefit from really doing some nice blocking up front, and these running backs are hitting the holes pretty hard here.
Remember, Joel Taylor wanted to run the football with ferocity this week. They're getting that done. Another give to Lester on 3rd and 2. He has the first down. The ball comes free, though, and Tarleton State has it. The freshman fumbles.
It was a fumble recovered by the defense.
Recovered by Blake Smith. His second fumble recovery this season. TSU, it may stand for Turnover State University.
Well, you might as well say it. I mean, this is incredible. It just seems like every single game we turn around, the Texans are finding a way to turn it over, and that's unfortunate for the Wolves because I think they had something going on this drive, and they were bringing the fight to the Texans, and the freshman, unfortunately, couldn't hold on to it, and ball goes over there in the Texans' favor.
Tarleton State's Blake Smith not only rips it free, he recovers it as well. West Georgia has been an opportunistic defense. They've taken the ball away this season, but they're also giving it away. That's their 14th giveaway this year. Tarleton State starts in plus territory, and there's the first handoff to Trey Page. He is an explosive freshman one of the top rushers in the nation for freshman, and he makes it down to the 26-yard line with a big 15-yard rumble on first down.
Boy, it is good to see Trey Page back into the game. You know, he's averaging 112 yards rushing per game, and that's second in the UAC. And telling you what, the 1-2 punch, if he can stay healthy, that's going to be formidable.
Another one for Trey Page, trying to bounce it in there, but it gets wrapped around completely. Festus Davies, the outside linebacker, brings him down right at the line of scrimmage. Trey Page, second in the FCS in yards per carry, just under 8 per tote this season.
That's pretty salty, right? That means he's nearly getting a first down just every time he touches the ball. And you know, the way this offense likes to play, they want to run the ball first. We've talked about it every single game. 63% of the time they're going to run the football, but it's that 37-38% of the time they do pass. It is lethal.
Gabalis on play action, finally fires it out, and even in blanketing coverage, he really trusts his receiver to come back to the football and make the grab. Marquise Willis just shy of the first down on that 9-yard pickup to the 17.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good coverage. Trayshawn Moore, number 14, is in great position, but watch the accuracy of this pass. I've said it a number of times, a perfect pass is going to be perfect coverage every single time.
Trey Page bounces it out and really just playing with the defensive back, Kiari McClure, and it's enough for the first down on that gain to the 16-yard line. That should move the chains for Tarleton State, and it does with a 7-0 lead as the clock bleeds here in the first quarter.
Pretty action-packed first quarter.
It
a lot
was.
of stuff going on. We only have 7 points, but man, I'm telling you what, these two teams kind of filling each other out. It's going to be a good one tonight.
This is the end of the first quarter. Timeout on the field.
West Georgia has proven to be a worthy opponent, but 2 turnovers have done in the Wolves so far. Tarleton State up 7-0 and looking to punch it in on the other side. You're watching UAC football on ESPN+.
QB1, Victor Gabalis, was fired up to be back. He said he didn't even need an energy drink today. Head coach Todd Whitten told me that while Gabalis was out, he was an unbelievable teammate, supporting Daniel Greek and the rest of the team. I asked Coach Whitten if he would be limited at all with that injury. He said, heck no, we're trying to win a ball game, guys.
Love it. The Lithuanian leader is back, mustache and all. First down and 10 for Tarleton State starting the second quarter with a lead. Cody Jackson, pop pass to him inside the 10. Needs to make a move through a tackle of McGlure. Leans over. Touchdown. Tarleton State. 16 yards for Cody Jackson. And the Texans are in front 13-0.
Yeah, this is a fantastic play call. I've always been a fan of Adam Austin, the way he can time these things out, the perfect time to pull a play like that out. And it's perfectly executed.
First play out of the quarter. Get your speedster in motion. Tarleton State up by 2 scores after a 5-play, 42-yard drive. The Texans take advantage of a West Georgia giveaway. It's been the recipe for success all season. Takeaways on the defensive end, big plays on the offensive end. The Tarleton State Texans lead by 2 scores. Schools, LeDarren, when your quarterback goes down, you know, you start panicking. You're like, what are we going to do? But at Tarleton State, they are deep, right behind Victor Gabalis, Daniel Greek, who came in the last 3 games and was marvelous.
You know, it's an embarrassment of riches, and right, the most important position on any football team is the QB position, and they arguably have the best quarterback situation than any team in the nation. And you'd have to go far and few between to find a team that can rival where their number 2 quarterback could start for a number of programs across the country.
Daniel Greek, 3-0 now as a starter over the last few years, as Poston kicks off into the wind, and it is returnable for DeAndre Buchanan. Buchanan, a dangerous dude, and brought down at the 21-yard line. Excellent tackle by Kobe Dickens, the linebacker, and there is a flag down as well. Dickens with an excellent open field stop on a guy that had a 92-yard kick return for a score to open up the second half of the season opener.
Doing the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, receiving team number 8, half the distance penalty, will be first down, West Georgia.
And Joel Taylor, the head coach at West Georgia, talks about sins or self-inflicted negatives. And that's one right here that is going to put West Georgia in poor field position.
Yeah, and we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast how disciplined and how, well coached this team is. And yet in this game, the one thing that they've been pretty good about is hurting them here in this first half. You've got 2 turnovers, and those turnovers have led to points. And so, man, that is the one thing. And now some penalties starting to come up and put them behind the hole to start this drive.
And starting at their own 11-yard line. Great to see Latrell Morrell back out there at running back on one of his early carries. Got folded up, appeared to injure an ankle. Gets pushed back here, but a positive gain, 4 yards. And West Georgia just needs a grinding drive right now.
But I think they were on the right path on that last drive before the fumble. I think they had the recipe of how they can get back in this game and potentially win it. They have to commit to the running game, but you got to hold on to the ball.
And Davin Widener hasn't completed a pass yet. Not asked to here. The pitch out, and great tackle by A.J. Owens. Face mask to face mask on Latrell Morrell. Still, it's a 5-yard pickup. 3rd down 1.
And that was one of those textbook tackles that you circle in the dictionary of tackle football. You would put that picture or that video, if you can, and send it across to the youth of America when they play football, because that was perfect.
So 3rd down and 1. A lot of options here for West Georgia from their own 20. Widener sends a man in motion, offers it to Morrell, and he's able to skip behind his left tackle and pick up enough for the first down. That's a gain of 4.
Well, there's no doubt that Morrell looks pretty good. He's still able to cut, he's still able to plant, and he still has the burst. And so that is a nice sigh of relief that Morrell is back into the game. Now they're coming back with T.J. Lester, the freshman. I thought he ran the ball well, but freshmen will be freshmen. And so sometimes you just got to fight through it. He's got to hold on to the rock.
He's the 9th leading rusher in the UAC, is T.J. Lester. But Widener going to the air. Off his mark, trying to extend the play. Good runner as well, but just throws this one away. 2nd down and 10 for the Wolves.
Yeah, he's just not seeing the field right now because he has receivers open. He had a receiver dragging across the middle. That should be the easiest throw you make if it's right there in your face. But you always got to remember where your check down is. He could have easily taken a profit by dumping it off to T.J. Lester in this flat.
So as it is, the incompletion brings up a 2nd down and 10 for West Georgia. Davin Widener, again, not playing last week against ACU in a 30-13 loss. Buchanan in motion. Pop pass to Buchanan. He's electric. Buchanan uses his block to the outside. Slips a tackle. Depends on where his foot went out, and it's right at the marker. A 10-yard pickup and a first down.
Well, his head linesman is pointing the other way, saying it's first down. How about that? I thought he was going to be tackled about 3 or 4 yards short. But you see Owens there. He can't make the play, and that little bitty effort at the end got him enough for the first down. That's a huge play because they were well behind the chains, and I don't think they're prepared to be 3rd and long against this defense.
No, again, they want to be a team that can run the ball. But Buchanan, the transfer from Georgia Southern, has been explosive this season for West Georgia, and they missed him when he was out for 2 games earlier this month. Widener to the air. Here comes the blitz. Rolls out and runs. Slides to a halt. And it's where he started his slide, so Widener only picks up 1 on the play, but he's a dude that can use his legs.
Yeah, he absolutely can, and that time the defense is playing man. So if he doesn't see what he likes to begin with, I am 100% okay with him taking off. That should be the backbreaker to this defense when they decide to go man because no one has contained for the quarterback.
He is a huge dude at 6'5", 220. The junior transfer from Ole Miss, where he walked on a few years ago. Morrell on the sprint out, and he is wrapped up and ripped down. That is Josh Griffiths putting his big arms around him and pulling him back for a loss of 4 to the 30.
Yeah, we talked about Brandon Tolver on the other side, but Josh Griffiths is the equalizer too on the other side. And these guys have long arms, and it's tough to get around the edge of the defense. And I'm telling you what, this defense is good. If you try to go sideline to sideline, they have the size and speed to beat you to the point.
Tarleton State one of the leaders in the nation, 7th in FCS, 7.7 tackles for loss per game. It's 3rd down 13. West Georgia behind the chains. Davin Widener stepping up, trying to extend the play. Long way to go. Fires underneath, and that fastball is caught for a first down to the 45-yard line. Jamarcus Prince able to slide and make the grab, or rather it's Jordan Dees, but either way, what a throw by Widener here.
Yeah, this is a nice job of him stepping outside of the pocket and keeping his eyes upfield.
Dees, a favorite target on 3rd down this season. No gain on 1st down. And Latrell Morrell only able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's a great play by Davin Widener, extending the play on 3rd and 13.
And it was even a better play by Jordan Dees to settle down in the zone, because he could have easily ran into coverage, but he recognized that his quarterback was scrambling. Got a flag here.
I think might be a few guys on the field. A few more than they need.
Illegal substitution. More than 12 in formation. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
More than 12.
Yeah, John, they were trying to get Sam Regina off the field. You saw Big 70. He was hustling, trying to get to the sideline. They were trying to make a substitution for the big fella. It looks like they brought in Jacob King, number 79, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like they're kind of shuffling some guys in early on this offensive line.
And so an empty set on 2nd down 15 after the illegal substitution. Here comes the rush. Widener up the middle, throws it on Dees, but it's incomplete. But he had to get rid of it quickly as Yasir Holmes came inside on the twist and was right in the face of Widener.
Boy, this defense is good, because when they empty the backfield, it's declaring right away what this defense wants to do, and that's a fantastic play. That's like a defensive back trying to make a play there. It's
Bam Smith, who missed last week, but nice to have him back this week.
Well, this is the one down and distance I thought the Wolves had to try to avoid as much as they possibly can in this game. This is dangerous time. You're talking about the top team in the nation in terms of takeaway, and a lot of it is doing this on 3rd down.
Widener tucks and runs, but Holmes has him. He needed 15. He picks up 3. It's 4th down.
Yeah, he just never felt comfortable when he dropped back and planted that back foot. He got a little antsy. Here he goes, step back, and he's already looking at the rush. Not even trying to give his guys a chance, but tries to get upfield, and it's
Tarleton
too late there. Good coverage on the back end. Good closing speed by this defense.
Number 5 is 95.
This Tarleton State team has a bevy of playmakers on both sides of the ball. And defensively, Yasir Holmes is one of those at the edge rusher spot. The punt is blocked! It is recovered, but the punter is down after Riley Mason had it taken off of his foot. It's not technically a turnover, but as good as one, as the Tarleton State Texans special teams are having a big day on homecoming. Give me that. Tarleton State up by 2 scores. After the punt block, back to live action. Victor Gabales trying to make West Georgia pay. Finds Cody Jackson, who just caught a 16-yard touchdown, and he works his way for 9 up the right sideline to the 28-yard line. Tarleton State, game-changing play after game-changing play.
Well, it's all 3 phases now, right? The offense kind of got the party started. The defense got their takeaways, and here comes special teams with a punt block, and it puts the ball on the tee for this offense. They don't need a whole lot. And right now with the short field, they got to make quick work of this.
Gabales on the slant through the hands of his intended receiver, Owen Dupree. But he was open with a step, or excuse me, Marquise Willis. But in any event, he was open with a step on McClure. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, Willis has got to catch that one. That's exactly how you draw it up, John. And, you know, they get the man-to-man matchup on the outside to play action pass. Got to convert that.
So it's third down, and now Daniel Greek comes in. Kind of a wildcat look with Charlie Robinson as his lead blocker. And Greek, the 6'5" quarterback who came in for Victor Gabalis the last 2 weeks and kept the Texans perfect, moves the chains with a 2-yard gain.
You know, it's probably so much fun to be an offensive coordinator for an offense that you bring your number 2 quarterback in, and it's a wildcat look. But this defense has to respect him as a passer because this guy has been throwing the ball pretty well, 677 yards in 3 games. So you got to respect that. That's why you can easily get that first down there on 3rd and short.
Tarleton State trying to take advantage of the great field position after the punt block. On 1st and 10, Gabalis, the long play action, has his man. Marquise Willis makes it count. A 26-yard strike. And the Tarleton State Texans are rolling in the first half on homecoming.
And that's good to see that they go right back to Marquise Willis. That matchup is going to be a problem for West Georgia. Marquise Willis is just too big for the cornerback on the outside. He's 6'2", and he gets that big body inside, just like a basketball player would post up to get a rebound. Get that inside position, and when you've got a quarterback as accurate as Gabalis, it's almost nothing that defensive back can do.
The Texans, such a great running team. 220 a game on the ground. You've got to single cover them. You don't have a choice. And Victor Gabalis will take this all day. Texans up big. The man on your right there, number 45, made that last special teams play for Tarleton State, blocking the punt and setting up a short porch drive for the Texans to go into the end zone. And oh my gosh, is there an earthquake going on in Stephenville, Texas? No, they put subwoofers on the field.
Oh my gosh.
As if, you know, the 23,000 that they pack in here on a nightly basis isn't enough. Now they got the subwoofers going.
It reminds me of being in high school. I had subwoofers in my car. It sounded like me
LD again.
Coming down the street. And
right down Main Street in Louisville. There he goes. Old Orchard, watch out. Well, Tarleton State's latest touchdown pass from Victor Gabalis, who is back after injury, 26 yards. The return by Buchanan, he can be a game breaker, and he breaks out. But Corbin Poston, the kicker, has had quite enough of that. Knocks him out along the sideline. They'll give him the 42-yard line on a nice return by Buchanan. Maybe that will spark West Georgia here.
Yeah, they got to get going on first down. They've struggled on first down, and when you get a couple of 2nd and 10s, you got to be perfect in that instance to give yourself a chance for a down and distance that you can manage on 3rd down, right? And so they've been getting behind the chains. They've got to stay ahead of schedule here.
Tarleton State, 182 total yards. West Georgia just 69 so far tonight. Latrell Morrell, one-on-one to the boundary with Rawls. Bounced out after a 4-yard gain up to the 46-yard line. Morrell, the 2nd drive of the game, exited with a lower body injury, but he has been able to play through.
That's a nice gain on first down. That's a little bit more accustomed to what they are looking for. It gives them a nice, manageable 2nd and 6 here.
Widener trying to find somebody, but the happy feet in the backfield, and he is sacked again back at the 39-yard line. It was a meeting at the quarterback, and James Turrentine, the transfer from Colorado State Pueblo, was first to tag him.
This ball's got to come out. He cannot stand back here and hold it. Right now, that ball, you got to turn it loose. Just turn it loose. You're not going to have perfect lanes to pass, and these receivers are not going to be high school wide open. You have to throw that pass. Otherwise, this pocket will continue to collapse, and once again, they find themselves in 3rd and long.
West Georgia had only taken 9 sacks through the first 7 games of this year. They've taken 3 in the first half. 3rd and 13 for Widener. Stepping up, pressure as he throws, and he nails his receiver to the 45-yard line in Tarleton State territory, putting it right on the redshirt freshman D.K. Daniel for a first down.
That was the best job by the offensive line in pass protection. They gave him a chance to scan the field. He comes back to the middle and hits his receiver on a deep dig route. D.K. Daniel, that's huge because you didn't want to have to punt the ball back to the offense of the Texans. Right now, your defense needs a break, and every little first down you can get on this drive is certainly going to help them.
17 yards, longest gain of the young Daniels' early career. Buchanan in motion, returning to the right side, and I think he was moving forward at the snap.
Yeah, you just can't have that, John. Those are the little things that you work out.
False start, offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty. First down.
I don't think it was on 74. That was DeAndre Buchanan. He started moving forward, and this head linesman, as soon as he took off, threw that flag. But nonetheless, these are the types of things that have killed them tonight. And, in their 5-game winning streak to start the season out, this was one of the more polished teams across the country. They didn't beat themselves. Right now, they're shooting themselves in the foot early.
So it's back to the 49-yard line for a 1st and 15 instead. The handoff goes to Morrell, but the cavalry is there, and he is ripped down for a 1-yard loss. Pius Jenga helps lead the charge. Bam Smith here too.
Well, to be a good defense and to be one of the top defenses in the UAC, you got to rally to the football, and that time you saw a plethora of purple jerseys running to the ball, getting there. Everybody wanted to get a piece.
5 tackles for loss tonight for Tarleton State's defense. They average just under 8 a game. A merciless effort by Tyrone Nix's defense so far. Widener sends Morrell. Instead, it's a design quarterback draw. Widener outside and able to pick up big yardage down to the 37-yard line. Not a first down, but still it's going to help this drive a lot. That's a 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a beautiful play call by Austin Davis, saying, okay, this defense, the tendency for them is to play a too-high safety, so more times than not, they're going to be playing some kind of man coverage underneath. And that's a backbreaker if you can get the quarterback draw and bust one. That time they almost get what they need. But this is much better than 3rd and 16. You'd rather have this 3rd and 3 and a long 3.5 maybe for a first down attempt.
TJ Lester is the running back, 8 in the box for Tarleton State. But instead, Widener keeps it himself. He is brought down by Yasir Holmes, shy of the first down. picked up 2, 4th down and 1.
Yeah, just too much speed on the perimeter. And this play probably works if Widener probably could run a 4-4 or 4-3. He can get to the corner, but unfortunately he doesn't. And Yasir Holmes actually does. That kid can fly.
West Georgia going for it on 4th down, and they pick it up with a surge by T.J. Lester, running behind the left guard and the center, Regina and Maluia. That'll move the chains for West Georgia, keep Tarleton State's offense off the field too.
Well, credit to Joel Taylor to say, hey guys, we've got nothing to lose at this point. We got to go. And punting the ball does us no good. Field goals won't do us any good here. We've got to go get first downs. We've got to put the ball in the end zone on this drive.
Austin Davis, the first-year offensive coordinator, trying to dial up a touchdown drive. Taking up a lot of time on this drive, too. Widener facing the blitz, stepping up. He is erased again. Villalami Wolfgram eats up Davin Widener. A loss back to the 40-yard line.
You know, they just overrun this offensive line, and look how the pocket just collapsed. And this time, it's really nothing that Widener could do because the pocket is coming right at him in his face, on the sides. Just nothing he could do there but hold on to the ball.
Devin Sterling also meeting at the quarterback, but may have gotten popped himself. He had to come out. 2nd and 17 after the 7-yard loss. We're approaching the 2-minute timeout. Here in the first half, Tarleton State up by 3 scores. Buchanan in motion, but before the play, flag is down.
First charge, timeout, the half, West Georgia, timeout on the field.
Before the delay, the timeout is called. West Georgia Wolves wrapped up 5 straight wins to start the season. They're trying to avoid 3 straight losses.
2-1-4.
Tarleton State University, you know they're going to be out for homecoming week. It is big doings here in Stephenville, Texas, just about an hour southwest of Fort Worth. John Little back with LaDarren McClain, Kendra Sheehan, and the entire crew. Tarleton State trying to move to 8-0 on the season, having their best start in their Division I history. West Georgia, a team in transition, moving from Division II to Division I in their second year of 3 years where they're not eligible for the postseason. On 2nd down and 17, Widener spins the ball, throws it underneath in traffic, and that was trouble. Incomplete. He had Morrell somewhere in that sea of purple, and the Texans nearly picked it off. 3rd down.
And they've just been giving this offensive line fits the entire night. They're coming from all different angles. They're coming up the middle. They're coming from the outside. And that's the uniqueness of Tyrone Nix's defense. You just never know where the pressure is going to be concentrated at. And that's why this defense can give fits to really any offense in the country.
3rd down, 17. Out of the empty set. The flare out to Morrell. Can't even get back to the line of scrimmage. The Texans defense is everywhere. And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. A promising drive for West Georgia is facing a 4th and long. The Texans absolutely relentless on defense, rolling to the ball and rolling West Georgia. Taylor, the head coach at West Georgia, a defensive-minded guy, a 20-year assistant, very high energy dude, has really brought a lot to this program over the last 2 years, but he's having one of his toughest days at the office this season.
Yeah, you know, it's tough to play in this stadium, right? And he's finding out pretty quick that it is not a coincidence that most teams, when they come in here, they fall down. And if you look at what the Texans are trying to do, trying to go undefeated 4-5-0 at home.
95.
I think he's done a remarkable job with this program, though.
He's right where Tarleton State was just a few years ago, trying to make that transition from Division II to Division I. Last year, a 4-win season, 1 win in the UAC. This season starting out 5-0, but now running into some bumps.
He's a great recruiter, back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes. That says a lot about Coach Taylor.
Snap back to Mason. Tarleton State was coming after it again. Blake Smith watches it into the end zone. And Tarleton State will take over at the 20-yard line. And this offense has plenty of time. 3 timeouts, already up 21-0. How do you play this drive if you're Victor Gabalis in the offense?
Well, I don't think you change a thing. I think you do what you've done the entire game. I think you could still run the football. You don't get away from what you do best because it doesn't take them long to strike. And it just takes like that, a bang-bang couple of pass plays, and they could be already down into the red zone. So with 3 timeouts remaining, I don't think you do anything different.
Gabalis 7 of 12 through the air for $133, 2 touchdowns, and his first interception of the season. Tarleton State is a team running for 49 yards, only 3.3 per carry. Facing a 3-man front, offers it to Trey Page. Page Nice bounces in the hole and picks up 5 out to the 25.
Man, that's nice. That's having some quick feet. And that's hard to do because it's some big bodies in traffic, and the vision and the timing of that was impressive.
Tarleton State trying to see if they can get a chunk play and really start this offensive drive on 2nd and 5. Cabales looking for the chunk and overthrows his intended receiver Marquise Willis in that left slot. 3rd down.
Yeah, he had him. He had him. I thought he was going to try to get this pass off a little right now. But when that ball sails, you had coverage over the top. But nonetheless, that was the shot they were looking for. And that was a really good route again by Marquise Willis.
Willis just caught his 3rd touchdown of the season earlier on this quarter.
Yeah, this secondary has got some issues. They've got guys running open the entire game.
Now they're loading up to come after Cabales. They back off some. The out route complete to Peyton Kramer, and he dives out to stop the clock at the 36, a gain of 11 and a 1st down.
Yeah, he's been relatively quiet tonight. Peyton Kramer certainly doing the dirty work underneath, but that is a nice security blanket and a good conversion there by the Texans.
And the Texans hurry up now. Cabales, plenty of time, lofts it, a lot of air under this one. Parker goes up, he's got it in his hands, taps the right foot. They say completion to the 40-yard line and a 1st down.
And that's going to be one of the better catches you see all weekend. That right there was fantastic, knowing where he was on the football field and just pulling that thing down.
Bryce Parker, 24 yards on the hookup, not even reviewed. Cabales double clutches over the middle in traffic, incomplete. Kramer said there was contact. Let's look back at this last one, LD.
Well, this is a perfect pass. This is the only place he can put it. But look at the effort by Parker to just climb the ladder and go get that thing, but keep 1 foot in bound at least.
Bryce Parker, the 5'9", 180-pound transfer from Utah Tech, who was their leading receiver last year. Here at Tarleton State, making a name for himself as well. 2nd down and 10. Braylon Bridges is the running back. Cabales hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Cabales taking some contact. And it's the first time we've heard the name David Hogue, the graduate transfer from Northern Colorado, who has been so good this year for West Georgia.
Well, he's been fantastic. Had a good game against Abilene Christian last week. Had 5 tackles, 1.5 tackle for loss.
Yeah, that dude's a game wrecker. He was back in Northern Colorado, had a lot of injury trouble there. 6 years there. This is his 7th year of college ball. 3rd and 10 for Tarleton State. They're 4 of 5 on 3rd down. Cabales, plenty of time though. Fires near side, and somehow it floats over the defender and into the waiting arms of Peyton Kramer. That was the defensive end, Festus Davies. Down the field, it floats right over his outstretched arm, and a 1st down for Tarleton State on a gain of 13.
That is incredible. I don't know whether to say that is luck or that is just a player that good. And I think it might be a little bit of both because that was phenomenal. That was one of those, no, don't throw it. Yes, great pass.
Right? If Festus Davies makes that pick, it's going to be tough to catch him. 57 seconds left in the 1st half. Cabales, clean pocket, strike. On the money, and another 8 yards to Peyton Kramer, sits down just inside the 20, and Tarleton State spends a timeout.
Here it is. That's the one thing that you try to coach any quarterback not to do. But the fact that he trusts his arm and he's got enough arm strength, John, to get across the field, that was a fadeaway jumper.
Thank you.
from half court.
Oh, and it was wet, too.
Yeah, man.
It was wet.
I'm telling you, that's just showing out a little bit.
You know, Victor Cabales, the big thing on him last year, especially midway through the season, is Coach Witten's saying, you got to stop turning the ball over. You got to stop throwing interceptions. And about midway through last season, Victor Cabales just stopped throwing picks. And he hasn't been throwing picks since. He did have 3 in the game against South Dakota State that ended their season in the 2nd round of the playoffs, but he's only thrown 1 this year. That was the only game of his last 7 last season where he threw a pick. He's been unbelievable taking care of the ball.
Yeah, and that comes with preparation because a lot of times when coaches say, hey, I don't want you to throw picks, well, sometimes a quarterback can get complacent. They can get a little gun shy. But you don't want that in your quarterback. You want them to go out there and attack. But Gabalis is doing the best of both worlds. He's prepared, but he also trusts his arms and and at the same time, he has the receivers to get it done. It's impressive to watch.
2nd down and 2, just inside the 20. Tarleton State hands off to Braylon Bridges, and Bridges has the 1st down, and then the rugby scrum. They'll stop his forward progress at the 13-yard line. Clock stops to move the chains with 44 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time now. You still have 2 timeouts. Now they just set the chains and the clock is running.
They can pick up a 1st down without a touchdown, or pick up a 1st down without getting a touchdown. As Gabalis, play action, looking left, it's complete. Once more down to the 9-yard line. Only a 4-yard gain here, tackled inbounds. Marquise Willis, and Tarleton State spends their 2nd timeout with 21 seconds left in the first half.
Second charge, timeout of the half. Tarleton State,
pretty quick.
30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 24 seconds. 2-4.
This has been a outstanding, a clinical drive for Tarleton State's offense, but they've shown a little bit of everything in this first half offensively.
And they're still running the ball, and that's what I'm talking about. They don't have to do anything different. Now, they may get in and out of the play a little bit quicker, but the essence of a hurry-up is kind of in the fabric of what they do with the first play of the game. So there's nothing really changes. You just got to be mindful of where you are when you catch the ball. If you're a receiver, hey, if you can get out of bounds, get out of bounds. Otherwise, we got 1 timeout remaining. And so, yes, they are cooking with gas down here at the 10-yard line.
Some of Gabalis' favorite targets in the red zone, well, that guy right there, number 88, Dawson Hearn, who still leads the UAC in touchdown receptions with 5 this season. So 2nd down and 6. They give Tarleton State 3 more seconds. 24 on the clock. Gabalis to the air, stepping up, trying to get rid of it, but he is sacked. Ripped down by Jonathan Cahigal. He's a Texas native from the Super Centex region of Humble. Only 8 seconds on the clock. Seems like Tarleton State is going to be content to burn a timeout, and they do to set up the field goal.
Timeout of the half, Tarleton State.
Yeah, he just blows right back. Kurt Hatch. Kurt Hatch is probably one of the more solid right tackles in the UAC. You don't see that often, but credit to Cahigal there to beat him outside and then turn inside to get to the quarterback.
First sack of the year for Jonathan Cahigal. As a team, West Georgia came in leading the UAC in sacks this year.
Well, if there's any kind of bright spot or moral victory, I would think that's pretty good for West Georgia. You didn't give up 7 because it looked like, the Texans were ready to knock the door down by getting another touchdown.
Joel Taylor, big on situational football, big on situational awareness, playing well in that key 8 minutes, the last 4 of the first half, the first 4 of the second half. They're forcing Brad Larson into a 33-yard field goal attempt. The wind is swirling. This is not a gimme, and although he makes it, it's not going to count because a timeout was spent right before he ripped it.
West Georgia's taking a second
and how about the craftiness
30 seconds
of Tarleton State's special teams to go ahead and go through the motion and kick it? You just gave the kicker a rehearsal. I mean, that's just like he does in practice. He gets another try at it. That's why you got to call that timeout a little bit quicker. You don't want that kicker to have a rehearsal practice right before he kicks it.
Fantastic point. He's LaDarren McClain. I'm John Little. Kendra Sheehan on the sideline. Our whole crew with you. West Georgia with an amazing start to their second season in Division I, going 5-0, but now staring at least a 3-touchdown deficit in the face, and Brad Larson trying to extend it to a full 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions. Again, it's 33 yards for Larson, who was the hero in double overtime against Army. Snap, hold, kick, true. And it zeros of the first half on homecoming. The Tarleton State Texans lead West Georgia 24-0, outgaining West Georgia 246-91. That's about as dominant a first half as you're going to have.
Yeah, I think it was. It was a complete game by the Texans, and that's one of the rare times that West Georgia hadn't been leading at the half. They've been 4-0 this year in games leading at the halftime, 7-0 under Coach Taylor overall, but it's a different animal when you play these Texans here at this stadium.
Texans going right back down their chute and into the locker room. Rodeo is huge here in Stephenville, if you don't know, and that is a nice touch here at Memorial Stadium. Let's go down to Kendra, who has Todd Whitten.
Coach, a great drive down the field, but you settled for 3. What did you like about the first half?
Well, I thought we played really clean other than the one interception. Offense, defense, kicking game, so we certainly got a lead right now. We've got to make sure that we finish in the second half.
What do you want to see more of this final 30?
You know, just really more of the same. We played really well in the first half. We got to continue to take care of the football.
Congrats. See you next.
When the head coach is happy, everybody's happy. And everybody's smiling from ear to ear in Stephenville that wears purple. Couple touchdown passes for Victor Cabales, 2 turnovers by West Georgia, and they got a punt blocked. At halftime, Tarleton State leads West Georgia 24-0 on ESPN+.
Taste what it's like to be a Texan. Texan Rider, the official craft beer of Tarleton State.
family, service, integrity, loyalty, and security. Each of these values is central to National Farm Life Insurance Company. Purchasing life insurance for the benefit of your loved ones is an important decision. On behalf of our agents in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico, we look forward to the opportunity to serve you and your family. National Farm Life Insurance.
Triple Crown, you know we'll treat you right. Yeah, get on down to the Triple Crown and pick out your right. Got what you need. Come on, get your keys. Yeah, we got the best deal in town, so get on down to the Triple Crown.
Right now at Triple Crown Ford Lincoln, get 3.9% financing for 60 months on a new F-150 or get 0 for 60 on a new Lincoln Navigator.
Well, we got the best deal in town, so get on down to the Triple Crown.
Welcome back into Stephenville, Texas. It is homecoming here in the Crust Timbers region of the Lone Star State. At the half, Tarleton State leads West Georgia 24-0. And welcome back inside Memorial Stadium with LaDarren McClain. I'm John Little. Great to have you with us. You know, teams get up to play Tarleton State these days. They are the number 3 team in the nation. They're 7-0. They've been dominant. But despite that motivation, the Wolves came in and they did not have a good first half.
No, they didn't. And once they got behind 7 points, you were hoping that they didn't panic, but a little panic kind of set in. They started making some mistakes. The turnovers obviously leading to some more points, and they never really could figure out the Texans' offense. They were trying to play zone. Well, with the zone open up the short intermediate throws, they played man. Well, they went over the top. The Texans did. And so it just seemed the Texans had an answer for every single thing that the Wolves threw at them.
Well, and that's what, you know, the RPO-based offense that Tarleton State runs is all about, putting you in that quandary. And even though in the first half Tarleton State only ran for a little over 3 yards per carry, in order to force that, you're leaving man-on-man coverage, and Victor Gabalis is going to tell you.
Yeah, you almost have to pick your poison, right? You got to commit one way or the other, and you can see that the defensive coordinator was trying to bring pressure. He would back off. He would play zone. And, yeah, it's the gift and the curse because this offense has so many weapons, and they protect so well up front. And when you've got Gabalis now getting back into the flow of the game with that rushing attack, it is very difficult to slow these guys down.
Yeah, all in all, it leads to not even 100 yards of offense for West Georgia in the first half. Good news for the Wolves, they get the ball first in the second half. Of course, Tarleton State found out this week just exactly what the FCS Top 10 committee thinks of their season so far. This will be distributed twice before the playoffs. And right now, Tarleton State is in a fantastic position.
Well, they're looking really good, right? And that's where you kind of want to be. I think it all pans out by itself as we kind of move towards the end of this season. Yes, you want to get that home playoff game. You want to protect home field and do that. But I feel like the Tarleton State Texans are built to travel on the road the way they can run the football and play defense. And you look at this top 10, every single one of these teams has either a top explosive offense or one of the top defenses in the nation.
Absolutely. And the deeper you get, the higher you get, the better chance you have to make that bid for a home game in the FCS playoffs. The band on the field here in Stephenville. The pageantry is real on homecoming. Hill, Texas Memorial Stadium at halftime. Tarleton State leads 24-0. Very, very close, that score, but it's 24-0 here at halftime. And the Tarleton State Texans able to hit that field goal right at the end of the half. Back with LaDarren McClain, I'm John Little. Great to have you with us tonight. So, second half of this game, for West Georgia, if they're going to turn things around, if their fortunes are going to get reversed, where does it start here on the second half drive?
I think they've got to find an identity of what they want to commit to offensively. I think they showed signs in that first half of being able to run the ball, but then you had a couple of mistakes. You had the freshman fumble. I think they have to try to play keep away, because if they keep going 3 and out, if they keep punting the ball back to the Texans, this game could get really, really ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, and remember those fruitless drives from the first half for West Georgia. After the Gabalis interception, there was first of all, a holding penalty on the return, and then they weren't able to punch it in. They had to punt back to Tarleton State. They got a punt blocked a little bit later on. They had the fumble, of course. And then that drive at the end of the first half as well looked pretty promising. Great field position, but this 10-play, 17-yard drive that took 6 minutes off the clock, that's nothing.
Yeah, you can't have those type of things. So they've got to find a way to chip back into the game, protect the ball, but commit to the run. I think they have an opportunity to do that, and let's see if they can go out and execute the second half.
Well, the second half is next here in Stephenville, with Tarleton State leading 24-0 on West Georgia at the break. West Georgia Wolves ready to hit the field tonight for the second half. Everybody's gotten in on the action tonight for the Tarleton State Texans. It's been the offense, the defense, and special teams as well. Cortland Stevens had a punt block earlier on in this matchup to set Tarleton State up with a short porch that they delivered on. John Little back alongside LaDarren McClain, Kendra Sheehan, and the whole ESPN Plus crew in Stephenville, Texas. Just about an hour southwest of Fort Worth. Texans looking to go to 8-0, and that's the magic number. Todd Whitten tells us, LD, is if you get 8 Division I wins, we feel like we're going to make the NCAA tournament, basically. And this is a misplayed ball on the squibber, and Tarleton State has it. The Texans are pouring it on thanks to the miscues by West Georgia. Another special teams beauty driven up by Michael Walton.
Well, game clock operator, please reset the game clock.
Credit Michael Walton, the special teams coordinator, to pay attention to the tendencies of the front two lines of the return team of West Georgia. And it's all about the element of surprise. They got lulled to sleep. Think of the Texans who are up 24-0, was just going to rest and just kick the ball away. But credit to the scouting report there to find an extra possession in this game.
That's Cortland Stevens again. He was the man that had the punt block. He gets the muffed kick here. It's the 3rd turnover by West Georgia tonight, and Tarleton State starts at the 33-yard line. Here's Trey Page, one of the leading runners in the country, and he runs right into a very determined defender as Courtney Kelly, the redshirt freshman out of Columbus, Georgia, cuts his legs out.
Yeah, and we've called his name a number of times tonight, so there's a lot of upside on this defensive line. Courtney Kelly being one of the underclassmen up front. He over there with David Hogan and Robert Johnson. We haven't called his name much tonight, but definitely the activity is there by your nose tackle.
Somebody needs to spark it for West Georgia. Who's it going to be? Tarleton State 2nd down and 10. The empty backfield for Victor Gabales. His first game back after injury, and he is sacked. Could not work his way free from Robert Johnson. He has 2.5 sacks this season, and Tarleton State faces a 3rd and long.
That was right on cue. I just said he's been relatively quiet, and there he goes getting a sack. Here it is. It's just man-to-man right there in the middle of your screen, and he's matched up to one of the better inside right guards for the Texans in Braden Smith. And he wins that matchup head-to-head.
Robert Johnson, the transfer from Mercer. He played under his current head coach, Coach Taylor, while at Mercer. 3rd and long. Gabales has to scramble. Nowhere to go. Another sack. One thing's for sure, this West Georgia team can get after the quarterback. And stomping in is Jay Carter, the weak side linebacker, to pick up the sack here.
Well, they just inundate this offensive line, and they overrun them, and then they come in waves.
Number 9 is now wearing
and now you've got the offensive line just kind of looking at each other saying, oh my gosh, we're getting guys running free. And if you want to have a situation in a game where you get kind of caught off by surprise, how about the defense standing up there and making a play there, John?
Yeah, that is 4 sacks tonight for the West Georgia Wolves, who lead the conference in sacks. They're trying to come after the punt here, end-over-end kick. And what a coffin corner beauty it is, as it takes a wonderful lateral kick down to the 7-yard line. So Tarleton State, as there is a flag down, by the way, may have been offsides on the snap here. We'll see. Tarleton State may want to make it half the distance to the goal and accept the penalty after the punt. Let's see. Jeremy Tate is our referee tonight. Great UAC crew. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a good crew tonight. They've kept this thing under control. And this is one of the rare times they've had a little bit of discussion here, but hey, I'm all about getting it right.
Flags at the line of scrimmage.
Offsides, defense, penalties decline, result of play, 1st down West Georgia.
So it's one of those penalties where you can either decline it and take the punt, and that's what, or re-kick, and that's what Tarleton State decided to do. You see them trying to come after the punt.
Yeah, just trying to make something happen. And, you know, how many times we can see a game turn around on special teams now. This is not the ideal starting position for this offense, but they've got a golden opportunity here. If they can figure it out here, get something on the board, that's got to shoot a little bit of confidence back to this offense and the rest of the team.
Precisely. So the defense did their job.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Tarleton State was set up in perfect position, but excellent job by that West Georgia defense.
And I think for, you know, the most part, the defense really has gotten after Gabalis in the pocket. It's just those times where they have a little bit of a breakdown in the secondary, and those big plays certainly came up. But they can get a little bit of play from their offense. A little complimentary football doesn't hurt anybody. And if you can have a little bit from your offense, and who knows, they can get that confidence and start to get a little momentum here.
Davin Widener ready to go, but there is a conference of officials, about 20 yards off to his right.
Yeah, that's a serious conversation, isn't it?
It is.
I mean,
they brought together all the heads of state. And they're trying to work some things out.
Now you got the line judge and the field judge feeling left out. And it looks like they're kind of creeping.
What you guys talking about over there?
Kind of creeping over, wanting to get a.
Hey, I want to vote.
Here comes the field judge saying, "Hey, man, can we get this thing going?"
Been a great homecoming crowd so far, by the way. Just they attract attention here in Stephenville, Texas.
I mean, every game is such a spectacle.
Oh, I know.
Right? You know, homecoming just is the added flavor to it.
Oh, baby's first homecoming. Gotta love that. Joel Taylor does not like this night.
Yeah, you know what? When you lose, 2 games in a row coming in, that's a little bit of a rarity for this team. And now you're just trying to find answers.
There's no illegal number on the play. It's first down, West Georgia.
So they're trying to make sure of whether or not there was an illegal number on one of the two sides. Both of these sides have that extra jersey that they slap on one of their gunners or return people. And after discussion, and a long discussion, nothing else occurs. From the 7-yard line, Widener, his first game back at quarterback after missing last week. On play action, he sticks it right on his man at the 10-yard line and rolling forward for maybe one more. Jordan Dees, he's got really good hands. 5th in the UAC in receiving yards coming in.
Yeah, I love his upsides. Good measurable, 6'4", 200 pounds, can run inside or outside receiver positions. Good catch there on first down.
2nd down and 1. It's a 9-yard gain out to the 16, and this will be a first down as Latrell Morrell bounds forward for a pickup of just a couple. You know, Morrell was so hot early this season. His first 3 weeks, 415 yards rushing, averaging 7 a carry. But over the last 4, just $179 and averaging 3.6 yards a carry. Quite a difference.
Yeah, Abilene Christian really put the clamps on him last week. 10 carries for 19 yards. Didn't give him the end zone. And that's one of the things that, you talk to Coach Taylor. He said, hey, we got to get back to running the ball. And I think that's what they're trying to do today, but they get so far behind the chains that they're having to force to throw the pass.
Oh, but a big cutback by Latrell Morrell. Stiff arm, and he nearly breaks away, but Cassius Kearns is able to make an open field stop. Otherwise, Latrell Morrell was out the gate.
Boy, this is a nice zone blocking. You see the down block, kick out. Yeah, good blocking up front. These inside guards and this center, they do a fantastic job of reaching, John, and you hear offensive line coaches talk about we've got to reach to get to these linebackers, and they sealed a nice wall there for the cutback and a nice gain.
A 14-yard gain by Latrell Morrell. Ball out to the 32. And a broken play, but eventually Widener is able to throw it out, but behind the line of scrimmage, it's complete to his receiver, Devion Newsom, but he is stuck for a loss of 2.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. He just threw this one out of bounds. Nothing really to gain by kind of dumping it off there. That's that new 21st century triple option. Well defended there, and here's what I'm talking about. They have success, but then they have a negative play, and now they find themselves even further behind the chains.
Josias Kearns making that tackle for loss. On 2nd and 12, the wide snap at the handoff to Morrell, and a great 1v1 tackle. The safety, Avian Rice, with a planting hit. The gain of 3, it's 3rd and 9.
These defensive backs are no nonsense. Look at running downhill, fill the gaps, bang, right there. That is outstanding safety play. You are the last line of defense, and if you see a gap in a run play, it is your responsibility to come up and fill it, and Rice did a perfect job there.
3 of 8 on 3rd down tonight for the Wolves. Widener back to pass, twist up front. Widener nowhere to go with it, so he escapes. A lot of room to run. A 1st down and a chunk more down to the 44 in Tarleton State territory.
Well, it's the benefit of having a quarterback that can get outside and hurt a defense. He's not the fastest guy, but he has outstanding football speed, recognizing the coverage is there, gets outside, contain, and then just be a football player, John. Get what you can get the 1st down, and let's keep the drive moving.
That is 23 on the game. Get what you can get. I'd say so. As Widener is back to pass from the 44, wings it over the middle, throws it behind his man, and nearly intercepted by Avian Rice. He's looking for the tight end Bryce Dickerson.
He had him a long time. He just is late with the pass. And I don't know if he's just not seeing the coverage, but Bryce Dickerson was open as soon as the snap was made. And that's one you've got to hit, because that 1st down pass play is going to be the best opportunity to complete a pass. You're going to get the defense in a base look, and that was a big one there.
Buchanan in motion. Instead, a handoff to Morrell, and he has slid down. Tell you, Yasir Holmes is having a big game. Only a gain of 1, 3rd and long.
You know, he's just one of these linebackers, outside edge, defensive end, whatever you want to call it, just a freak of nature. He can chase a play down from behind. That play was going away from him, but he has so much speed and so much instincts, he can make that play in the backfield.
5 tackles, 4 of them solo tonight for Yasir Holmes. It's 3rd down and 9. Crowd getting loud on a homecoming Saturday night. Morrell splits out. Widener sees a blitz, steps up, gets through it. Widener galloping the Clydesdale all the way down to the 30-yard line. Move the chains on a pickup of 13.
I like the Clydesdale. This is arguably their best play of the night. And it's worked a few times, the quarterback keeper, the quarterback draw, and this defense doesn't have anybody spying to keep him in the pocket, so he will much oblige there and take the yards to make.
No problem whatsoever. A very promising drive for West Georgia. Down to the 30-yard line in Tarleton State territory, midway through the 3rd quarter. Trying to break the seal on this Tarleton State defense. Widener. Again hit. This time ripped down. Holmes helps finish it off, but Rios was also there, along with Pius Jenga. And this defensive line is eating for Tarleton State.
Well, there's an old saying when you're a quarterback, you cannot hold the ball that long. And I know he's getting pressure, but you've got to understand where your hot routes are and your check downs, because you're not always going to have a clean pocket, and you're not always going to be able to hit the home run. With this pass rush, you've got to be thinking 1, 2, 3, bang, I've got to get the ball out.
2nd and 15, Morrell. Sterling won't let him go.
No chance.
Morrell, 1 yard, and that's it. 3rd down and long again.
Not a chance, John. Not a chance. It's just too much speed.
And that is what gives this Tarleton State team a chance to contend for a national title this season, is that they've got elite talent all over the field.
I 100% agree. And everybody can rally to the ball. And it doesn't matter if you're 300 pounds or maybe 170 pounds. They all have the instincts of finding the football and running through the ball kill.
Now, Davin Widener has picked up 2 3rd down and longs. This is 3rd and 14. A little pressure. He leaps away. Widener being chased. Throws on the run. Loops it. And it is just overthrown. Incomplete. Intended for Davion Newsom. Widener had him open, but couldn't drop it in the bucket.
I mean, you'd have to be an elite offense to get that many third and long conversions on one drive. That is so tough for anybody to do. Now, they have a chance here, but the touch pass, I mean, it had to be perfect. He had a receiver open, maybe a Newsom.
Now, Simon Zidane is a very talented freshman kicker out of Kennesaw, Georgia, but this is a 52-yarder. His season long is 50. Wind is swirling. The kick is away. It has the distance, and it is good. Sign me up for a little more Simon Zidane. 52 yards and then some for the true freshman from Harrison High School. 24-3.
Worst. Head coach Joel Taylor was not happy with his team's first half performance, saying it was the worst half of football he's seen from this squad all year. He did huddle his team in the corner before they retook the field with the message, "Do you believe? And if you do, go out there and show it." He said penalties are what killed this team in the first half, and we have to stop letting our quarterback get sacked, guys.
Thank you so much, Kendra. And a drive that ends up in 3 points. Start and stop as it was. But as you said, LaDarren, the quality of this West Georgia team has been that they've just played so clean this year. Only 54 penalty yards a game, only about 5.5 penalties a game, but they've had some big ones tonight, and the coach knows it. And here is an onside kick. Tarleton State is ready for it. A brave call there, but the Texans will take over. Hagen Stevenson is the one that comes up with it.
Timeout on the field.
He goes to hide the football. Love it.
elite special teams player. Watch Kagan Stevenson here. Straight line speed, baby. Top end. You get to that sideline, and what do you do with the ball? I'm going back and hiding because I don't even want them to see it. They had no business kicking it to me. That's what I'm talking about, elite special teams play, baby.
Hiding it like an Easter egg. Oh, my goodness. It's been a fun night for Tarleton State in a lot of different ways, and they're trying to finish it off this evening.
This offense needs to score, John. You know what I'm saying? They haven't really kind of put it together. They looked good at the end of the first half. They got to get back to putting the ball in the end zone.
Well, 2 big sacks by West Georgia on the last drive. They give it to Page, and Trey Page wrestles his way forward for 5. We haven't seen the starting running back in this game in a long time, James Page. Wonder if he took a knock. Thankfully, they've got Trey Page, who's been the breakout star early this season for Tarleton State.
They just keep rolling them in. Right? If one guy goes down, they got another one to come in and keep it rolling.
You're next in line, right?
I guess so. I think I got some eligibility there.
Nice little move by Trey Page on the linebacker. Micah Thurman just didn't let him get a clean hit. Could have been stopped at the line. Instead, it's a first down.
Well, he's just got that body build that he can kind of contort his body and that low center of gravity, and he's really stronger than what defenses really think, and he can get through tackles and get those extra 1 or 2 yards at the end of runs.
I think at Hot Topic, he'd be shopping in the size 0. Here goes Trey Page. Size 0 to the end zone. Touchdown, Tarleton State. 39 yards. The offense scored, LD.
They heard me. And that right there showed you why, before he went out, why he was one of the top running backs in the nation. Just that drive alone showed you some power, showed you some toughness, and then the breakaway speed and the vision after that as well, John. And I'm telling you, man, this offense can hit you in a bunch of ways. And I know the defense kind of got after him the last couple of drives, but man, that was a nice one there.
Trey Page hits West Georgia in the mouth.
Timeout.
Carries for 72, averaging 9 a pop. His 7th touchdown is a 39-yard house call. And the Texans are up big in Stephenville. Everybody's always saying about the Tarleton State Texans, not everybody, excuse me, the doubters. They haven't played anybody this season. They haven't played any teams with a winning record. Well, West Georgia, 5-2 on the season, started the year 5-0. It's 31-3 here in the third quarter. I don't know. When are you going to stop saying these things?
Yeah, you know, to me personally, man, I never really pay attention to, who you played, who you beat, and all that kind of stuff. All these kids that play football are on scholarship and trying to beat you just as bad as you trying to beat them. So you don't apologize for who you beat. You don't apologize for dominating a football game 31-3. I can tell you that.
Tarleton State trying the squib kick again. It resulted in a turnover last time. This time, good strong hands by the tight end, Aiden Zepha, and West Georgia will start just across the 30-yard line, down 31-3. Their last drive ending in a Simon Zidane 52-yard field goal, but Davin Widener is hungry for the end zone.
Well, he's just got to throw in rhythm, and the longer that he has to hold the ball, it's been a continuous trend tonight. If he holds the ball, this pass rush will get to him. Now, he's been able to get outside of the pocket a couple of times, but he's got to throw on time here.
See if he can get in rhythm. Stepping up, but there's just nowhere to go. And he does take off near the 40-yard line. They give him the 39. It's a 6-yard pickup for Davin Widener.
That's a positive gain on first down, and when they can get some yards on first down instead of going backwards, this offense has shown signs of being pretty decent. And here's a 2nd and 4, so now you're going to get a defense more than likely to play kind of normal. They're not going to do anything exotic, so you're going to get a base look. So you might have an opportunity here offensively.
Pop pass out in front to Owen Dupree. Dupree making a move on the edge. Blake Smith holds him up. And then he's finished off by Avian Rice. But it's out to the 43-yard line. Just enough to move the chains. A 4-yard pass play.
All right, there you go. You got your first down. Now here it is. Back to first down one more time. Now you've got to find something positive. So you get that. Now this is where this defense is probably going to try a shell coverage. They got a too-high safety, so more times than not it's going to look like a cover 2. So if you're going to pass, the pass will be open in the middle of the field, and as a quarterback, you've got to be ready to turn it loose.
Widener stepping up again, but he can't turn it loose, and the ball is out as well. Tarleton State pouncing on it.
Rolling on the field is a fumble. Recovered by the defense, and it's first down, Tarleton State.
The strip sack for the Texans.
Here it
is. And it goes from bad to worse.
Well, we've seen it time and time again. That pocket collapses, and one more time, Angelo Anderson coming around. Look at that. He keeps one arm free and then puts the left tackle back, but once he sees the quarterback steps up, he goes in there and strips that thing. That is outstanding. That's next level kind of defensive end play there.
Whether it be Yasir Holmes or Angelo Anderson, and they both play kind of that weak side linebacker rush defensive end spot, they have been winning their matchups all night.
Boy, they have, and it's all about the technique. Now, talent is a big thing too, but they have been able to beat the punch to these left and right tackles.
Now here's James Page. A lot of this Wildcat look last week, and James Page fakes the handoff on the end around, carries it himself, and there's just nobody home all the way down to the 35-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup. That's the first carry for James Page since the first quarter.
You know, I like runners that can glide, and they're still covering a lot of ground. When you look at James Page, he just glides, and he's picking up so many yards at the same time with his feet. It just looks so effortless when he touched the rock.
A converted quarterback, Page, 2 hands on the football. Look at the way he's trying to finish that thing, just driving forward. And a first down to the 31 of UWG.
Yeah, he's got one of those builds too, kind of low center to gravity. You know, 5'10", 196 pounds, maybe a little bit heavier than that, but just knows how to run behind his pads, and I think that's just a trait of all running backs here at Tarleton State.
And Gabalis again gives it to Page. This time, good tackle by the inside linebacker, Micah Thurman, second leading tackler on the team last season. He's third on the team in tackles this year.
Yeah, He had a nice game last week, 11 tackles against Abilene Christian, and they need a ton of that. And he's just been, the thing with Thurman, he just hadn't had many opportunities because when they run the ball, the offensive line has been getting to the next level and reaching to him. That time he got free.
Play action for Gabalis. Gabalis, as a flag comes down, most likely for holding. He's ripped down after a pickup of 1, so he avoids the sack, but this is likely coming back unless the penalties decline.
Holding, offense, number 73, 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's Aiden Moe, the transfer from Northern Colorado.
That's a tough block there because Jay Carter, number 46, he's kind of the equivalent of what they have on the other side with Angelo Evans. He's one of these outside linebackers, edge rushers, and he gets a little bit in trouble, and there's the hold. And you can see Jay Carter there. Actually, it was Figaro coming in from the safety spot as well.
So Tarleton State is behind the chains. Gabalis has all day. Finally, just wastes 1.
Yeah, good decision.
So it'll be 3rd and 19 for Tarleton State after the holding penalty and the incompletion.
Yeah, good decision. Throw it away. No need to force it. You're up 31-3. If they play good defense, hats off to them. But you don't want to give them nothing free.
Gabalis, a workmanlike effort tonight. The offense as a whole for Tarleton State just now about to cross the 300-yard threshold. Braylon Bridges is the running back for Tarleton State here. Again, it's 3rd and 19. Gabalis climbs the pocket, and he is rolled down by Courtney Kelly. Second sack tonight for the All-Stater.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this young man here. He's got a motor that won't quit, and he's not watching what the score is. He's playing this thing like it's a tie ball game.
Tarleton State had only given up 5 sacks all season. It's been 5 sacks in this game by West Georgia.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that builds culture around a football team. You don't worry about what the score is. You just play hard every single play. That kind of stuff is contagious, and that's what Coach Taylor is trying to build. In this, going in his second year. Oh, good play again by Courtney Kelly.
Tarleton State takes the delay here. At least it looked like that was their intent. Now Tarleton State says the play clock never reset. And the officiating crew agrees, so no penalty for delay of game. Charlie Mullen on to punt. He's been able to bury 1 tonight inside the 20.
Yeah, he's real good at this. The way he can hit this thing with so much arc, and that ball just drops straight down. It always gives this coverage team enough time to go down there and cover the kick, and it forces the returner more times than not to have to fair catch.
They bleed another 20 seconds off the clock, by the way, just being patient before they snap the ball. And it's a 34-yard punt, no return, down at the 10-yard line as Todd Witten's program continues to build on the excellent start to this season. What a rise it has been from Division II to FCS. And Tarleton State just put all the chips in. They shoved all the chips in on the move to FCS, and they have proven that they belong over these last 5-6 years now.
Well, some teams, when they build like that and they're trying to move up to the next level of the program, they have a setback with the wins and losses. That hadn't been the case here at Tarleton State. Every single year Coach Witten has obviously been here, they are on the good side of the wins, on the plus side, if you will. And so I think they built it the right way, and now it's just a matter of time of putting you in those situations when you get into the playoffs so you can overcome it.
Widener unable to hit his man, and it could have been 6. But you're exactly right. Tarleton State is now the only Division I team in Texas with 8 straight winning seasons when you consider that Tarleton State has already won 7 this year. It's about to be 8. They can't have a losing season this year.
I think it's incredible. You talk about culture. It's a winning culture here in Stephenville, and that's how you get these recruits come in. That's how you can go attack the portal if you need to, because now you're going to come to a nationally known winning program now. And they're not finished. I think this is a title contending team. And I agree with you. I think the way they play defense, we know what they can do offense, and the special teams can keep up too, man. Nobody wants to play these guys.
This is a good team in West Georgia. Started out the season 5-0. They have beaten good teams over the course of this season. But tonight,
This is the end of the third quarter.
the Wolves have been snuffed out. They have not been a factor. 31-3. The homecoming shellacking is on in Stephenville. Welcome back into Stephenville. You know, it hasn't been a great night for the Wolves overall, but they have gotten after Victor Caballas.
Yeah, they've been doing a nice job against a good offensive line. They've been good the entire season, but they have been giving this offensive line problems at times, and it's been the different fronts. They've been mixing up the pressure, and sometimes the offensive line can't tell where the pressure's coming from. And, man, it's been a good job by the first-year defensive coordinator, Woody Blevins, just to mix things up and give his guys a chance up front to win their one-on-one battles.
Joel Taylor has 6 goals for the season. The number 1 goal is be the most violent team on the field. I don't know if that has been accomplished fully tonight, but at least they're making the effort. Widener back to pass on the first play of the fourth quarter, and it's incomplete down the middle. on a 3rd down and 10 play, trying to force it into their playmaker, DeAndre Buchanan, and it's 4th down.
And it's a shame Buchanan has not even been a
Uniform
factor
change
in
for
this
Tarleton
game.
State.
That's
Number 5 is now wearing number 95. Number 5 is now wearing number 95.
And Buchanan, he can take it to the house at any moment. He has just not been involved in the offensive game plan.
Oh, no doubt. Todd Whitten said he's their guy with juice. He's the one we're worried about. But he has not touched the football much in this game. He doesn't have but 1 catch and 2 targets tonight. Tarleton State does not go after this punt by Mason. So a returnable kick for Blake Smith, but he's unable to get away.
Timeout on the field.
The dominant defensive effort for Tarleton State continues, up 31-3 on West Georgia. Let's take a look at the Clark Real Estate Group house call of the game. Clark Real Estate Group.
Well, Trey Page wasted no time with that blocking up front, just showing you a little bit of everything, going inside and then turning on the turbo boosters to get around the defense. And that pretty much put it away, I think, in my opinion, as they go up 31-3 there.
Trey Page, another good game for him with the 8 carries and 72 yards. Game certainly seems decided, but Victor Gabalis has talked his way back onto the field for this first drive of the 4th quarter for Tarleton State. Trey Page, pretty good move, but he is tripped up. And last line of defense was Carson Yancey, and he did just enough. 3-yard pickup for Page.
Think you can move your feet like that, John?
Absolutely. When there is snickerdoodle cookies or
I might be with you on that.
Cookie 2-step ice cream involved, you got it.
I'm down with that.
Look at that. Absolutely. Trey Page, a first down carry, gains 8 down to the 34-yard line. Yeah, there's a man down for West Georgia.
No, is that my guy?
Injury timeout to a defensive player.
Courtney Kelly.
Kelly's had a 2-sack game. The former 3A All-Stater at Carver High School in Columbus, Georgia.
Timeout on the field.
He's such an active player, and if there's one bright spot, it was him, I thought. To be that young, to get that kind of play early in his career, and you can see even Coach Taylor's walking over just to check on his young stud up front.
Yeah, he's played really well in this one.
I think the whole defensive line has, in my opinion. Now, they've had some breakdowns, and you can see this these running backs have gashed them. Obviously, Trey Page, we highlighted that a while ago. But I think for the most part, this front seven, I haven't seen this offensive line. It's good to see him walk on his own power, but I haven't seen this offensive line of the Texans get kind of dominated as much as at times in this game. Usually maybe one or two may slip through, but it's been relentless in the pass protection tonight, and they just haven't been able to slow them down.
In the coverage downfield, you have to know that, you know, they're causing some problems too to make Victor Gonzalez hold the ball for 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, it takes both sides, right? You know.
Quarterback comparison between these two in this game. Victor Gonzalez, pretty nice game with 193 and a couple scores and an interception. And Davin Widener just has not been able to find his footing. Meanwhile, on the other side for West Georgia Wolves.
Well, I think with Widener, when he goes back and watches this tape back in Carrollton, Georgia, I think he's going to see, hey, I had some opportunities, and that's what he needs to get with Adam Austin. Or not Adam Austin. I'm thinking the offensive coordinator on the other side, Austin Davis. You know, hey, what are we thinking here? Because he's had some opportunities with the checks down. I think he's had some opportunities with some throws over the middle of the field and zone coverage. It just takes reps. It just takes practice, and you got to do that study to get it right.
Yeah, Widener's still got a few more years. Second year in Carrollton, Georgia. Got the rest of this year, and then next to put his mark on West Georgia lore, helping them make the transition from Division II to Division I. Back to live action, and on first down, again, Trey Page gives a burst and picks up another 5 down to the 29-yard line. Trey Page bursting onto the scene against Portland State in the opener. The starter, Tylen Hines, went down with an elbow injury, and Page broke out with 170 and 2 touchdowns on the ground, including an 89-yard romp. A couple weeks ago, he ran for 198 and 2 touchdowns on this field against Southern Utah. Texans obviously in no kind of hurry with a 4-touchdown lead early in the fourth quarter. And Page trying to break it out the backside.
Good tackle.
Nice tackle. Yeah, Carson Yancey, good breakdown there, right?
That was outstanding. He could have easily gotten juked out of his shoes. And we've seen Page do that a couple of times just on this drive, but that was outstanding. Keeping yourself under control and then breaking down, but tackling the middle of his body and not trying to go for his ankles.
Yancey, depth defensive back for most of his time in Carrollton, Georgia, playing his 23rd career game as a fourth-year senior. Leaves a 3rd down and 5 for Tarleton State. They'll offer it to Page again. Page on the sprint, makes a move. Flag comes down. Page has the first down, but look at the flag. Back at the 24. And they bring it back. That's what David Hogue thinks. And Hogue's seen some football his 7th year in college. Get anything past him.
Holding offense, number 69, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Redshirt freshman, Braden Smith.
Yeah, Braden Smith, uncharacteristically, had a kind of a tough night tonight, I think, and usually technically sound. This time, gets out of position. Festus Davies just trying to get around him. That's a tough reach for a guard, right? You know, Festus Davies is one of those athletic inside linebackers that can run like a safety, and you're asking a lot for Braden Smith to try to cut him off to create that lane.
Trey Page came out, his left arm was hanging kind of limp. James Page is in at running back. This is 3rd and 11 instead. Student body left. James Page turning the corner and escorted out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Micah Thurman. So it'll be 4th down and 5 yards, and Tarleton State will bring out the long field goal unit and give Corbin Poston a chance at a 47-yarder. Earlier on, Brad Larson hit a 33-yarder 4 weeks ago, I should say. Poston hit a 48-yarder and a 50-yarder in a victory. Snap and holder there. Kick is on the way. Does it have the accuracy? It does not. It was fading off to the right. Misses off the upright, and it stays 31-3. The number 3 team in FCS having their way tonight, even though Poston goes postal. Welcome back into Stephenville, about an hour southwest of Fort Worth. The Tarleton State Texans are 2 years into their full Division I status. Last year they made it 2 rounds deep in the playoffs in their first year of eligibility for the postseason. While West Georgia's in their second year of transition from Division II to being a Division I program. Gavin Widener is the quarterback. His first read's not there. Comes off to his second read, and then his third read is just to throw it away. Second down.
Yeah, just nowhere to go with the ball, and that's kind of been the trend the entire game.
Tarleton State's defense has been great against the pass, though, this season overall. I mean, just look at the numbers for them. I mean, their team pass efficiency defense is 5th in the entire FCS.
Yeah, if you look at yards passed per game, they're 8th in the FCS and 1st in the UAC. So, yeah, they check every box, John. And that's all you can ask for, no matter who you play. You check the boxes, and when the opportunity arises, when you start making the push into the playoffs and trying to win a championship, if you have to go on the road, you know you can win the game by a variety of different ways, and your defense is always going to be at the forefront.
Depth linebacker Kobe Dickens. Nice little knockaway. 3rd down and 10. Widener back to the air. No pressure this time. Steps into one, and he finds DK Daniel. Into Tarleton State territory and down to the 47-yard line. It's a hookup of 23.
My goodness, where has that throw been? This is an absolute dart. Steps up and throws a strike. That's the best pass he's thrown all night.
It's given him some confidence because he finds his tight end, Bryce Dickerson, for another first down. And a pickup of 16 to the 31.
So when he throws on time, he's pretty good. And we know that. And just tonight, he's just been a little bit off his game, and this defense has done that.
Oh, and he goes for it all, and it's incomplete, and a flag is down. Cassius Kearns is out of the game. Les Odemara is in, and the ball intended for Owen Dupree will end up in a PI and a call against Les Odemara.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good
Pass
call.
interference, defense, it's automatic, first down.
Yeah, a lot of contact down there. You can't grab the jersey. See if you can see the tail end of this play. It wasn't quite right there. It was a little bit before they hit the ground.
Now Widener with 3 nice passes in a row.
Yeah.
Moving the chains each time.
This is the Widener that I expected. This is the Widener that I thought that would come out kind of throwing it underneath the coverage to start the game.
Trying to get in the end zone for the first time tonight. Number 16. Here comes a defensive back blitz. Off of his back foot. It is caught for the touchdown. He had to wait and wait and wait for Latrell Morrell to get open, but he did on that corner route. And West Georgia is in the end zone, a 16-yard hookup.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. And he had to wait. And I love the fact that Widener had to extend the play just a little bit by retreating, just so this route could develop. But that's a well-played design there. Austin Davis pulling that one up there to get his running back out in the open, wide open there.
Gavin Widener, his 10th touchdown throw of the season. Latrell Morrell, his 3rd touchdown catch. Extra point is snuck in, making 31-10 with 11:06 to play. Yeah, Gavin Widener. And he was putting it on people on that drop.
Well, you know, I just wonder what happened. It could be a lot of different things. You know, they could be playing less aggressive on defense, could be playing more of a coverage style, defense. But that pass rush is still the same. You still got your 4 or 5 to rush it. But that looked like a different quarterback. And that's what I'm talking about, him throwing on time, getting the ball out of his hands, being decisive with it. Good drive there.
Yeah, 5 plays, 70 yards, 16-yard touchdown pass from Widener to Morrell. Took a minute off the clock. And we'll see if West Georgia tries the onside kick again. Already have once in this game, and Tarleton State was wise to it. And Hagan Stevenson went and hit the ball. Looks like this may be a more traditional kickoff from Simon Zaidan, who hit a 52-yard field goal earlier in this game. Zaidan's got a rocket, and he uses it. The Texans still in control. Throw it down to Kendra Sheehan with a little bit more on Latrell Morrell.
Latrell Morrell with the 21-yard receiving touchdown. He told me that last year he felt like he was one-dimensional. So this summer he worked on his hands, and that has certainly been on display. He's also worked really hard at the mental portion. He says never give up when the ball is given to you. He came back, watched all the film from last year, and wanted to get that much better. Shows with that receiving touchdown there, guys.
Absolutely, that's outstanding. And here's an outstanding throw. All the way for T.R. Young. Victor Gabalis rips back the headlines of this game with a 75-yard strike to the transfer from Lock Haven. And Tarleton State, the romp is back on.
And that right there might be one of the better throws we've seen tonight from Gabalis. Now, he's had a couple of nice ones in that first half, but just not much here in the second until there. That's the throw, and that's the quick strike offense that we've come accustomed with. This time they do it with T.R. Young, and Nice to see him get involved in the offense now.
I mean, he's talented.
Yeah,
Gonzalez, his longest throw of the season, and here it is.
Yeah, that's just a perfect pass, and he saw it the whole way. And that was a bust by this defense. And credit to Young to stay on track. And it's a perfect pass there.
A Division II All-American last season at Lock Haven with 1,100 yards receiving and 11 touchdowns. This is a deep, deep team.
I mean, Young is a big, fast receiver. And, you know, there was a couple of times in the last series that they had it before the field goal attempt. You know, they kind of brought him in, put him kind of as an H-back, kind of a slash, you know, tight end type player. But that time they split him out wide, and that's a nightmare matchup for most defensive backs because he's just too big and too fast.
It's got to feel good for T.R. Young, getting in the end zone for the first time as a Tarleton State Texan. 18th touchdown of his NCAA career.
Well, I tell you, this team has an embarrassment of riches, man. It just keeps going and going. No matter what position you look at, you go down that depth chart, anybody, it seems like anybody up there can make an impact and potentially start at some point in the season.
There's a dead spot right in the middle of the field. And Corbin Poston finds it, but leaping onto the ball to keep it from going anywhere else is C.J. Favors, the reserve linebacker. Yeah, Tarleton State head coach Todd Whitten. A big reason why things have turned out so well in this transition from Division II to Division I is he has embraced the transfer portal. And it's from back in his days as a Division II coach, he always was just fine with bringing in JUCOs, where some coaches would go, no, I don't want that. He would say, yeah, I'm going to use every tool imaginable to build my squad. And he embraces the fact that transferring is so easy these days.
When you get those transfer players or the JUCO players or the portal players, you're already getting guys with college experience. So that learning curve is shortened. Now you just got to get them up to speed with your schemes.
Oh, not on time that time for Widener. And coming around the edge, Pius Jenga. It's another sack for Tarleton State and a loss of 7.
Yeah, and that clock did go off in his head there. You got to have that Spider-Man sense. When you're back there playing quarterback, by the time you hit that back foot, if you have not turned the ball loose, you have either got to make a decision to run or throw it over there to the sideline, because the longer you hold with this defense, they've shown it all night tonight, they will get home and get you down.
Sack attack tonight for Tarleton State. They've got 6. Widener out to Morrell. Not able to shuffle up the sideline any further than a 6-yard gain as Jaden Aubert escorts him out. Leaves a 3rd and 11.
Yeah, and it's been fun to watch this defense get those sacks. And they've done it with maybe only rushing 4. And, you know, they may have brought an extra guy a time to maybe rush 5. They rarely blitz tonight at all. And that just shows you that this defensive line, even when they bring the linebackers and walk them up on the line of scrimmage, they are just good at rushing the passer and beating the guy in front of them.
Yeah, 6 sacks and 7 different guys involved. Widener stepping up. Nearly brought down. Elongating the play up the sideline and throws it away. It is caught, but out of bounds by Owen Dupree by about 3 or 4 feet. 4th down for West Georgia.
Yeah, just nobody open on any of those pass attempts. Nothing like the last drive. You saw guys kind of running open, and it looked like Widener was seeing them, but that time there, he held onto the ball and just nowhere to go.
Turning into a complete night for Tarleton State. See, they forced 4 turnovers. They blocked a punt. 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs. Not much more you could do in a game, no?
Score a touchdown. Maybe they can score a defensive touchdown. That would be the only.
They already lead FCS with 4 defensive touchdowns this season.
I mean, that would be the only thing. Maybe a little scoop and score.
They're getting a little greedy. I don't know.
That would be greedy. That would be greedy. But man, it's you're almost running out of stats for this defense, man. I mean, they just seem to have every single thing on lock. And I've never seen it, because last season this team, you know, was the top team, led the country in turnovers and takeaways, and and here they are again, one more time doing the same thing. I love the fact that they do that. Coach Nix and his staff, I know they coach that up during the week, and it comes out in the game.
Boy, does it. Again, they lead all of Division I in takeaways coming in with 19, and they've got 4 more tonight. Victor Gabalis isn't done. He's going up top, intended for Cody Jackson, and incomplete. Second down. You know, but that's the RPO. I mean, if everybody's looking in the backfield, you got to go up top, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're going to play man, I'm going to take my chance with Cody Jackson every single time. And I don't care what the score is. And if that's the way our offense is designed, and you're right with the RPO, you got to go where it tells you to go.
James Page is the running back. He'll get it this time. Trying to bounce it out. West Georgia had him bottled up, and he nearly got out the backside, and he had a lead blocker, Victor Gabalis, who wanted him to follow him to the end zone. It's a 4-yard pickup for James Page, coming into the matchup. 255 and 6 touchdowns on the season. He's got another 56 and a touch tonight.
Yeah, Victor Gabalis said, I had you, dog.
He did.
I had you. If you were going to come on this way, I was going to help you walk in.
A little over pursuit there. Gabalis off his back foot. Yeah, just threw that away. It was covered well. 4th down.
Yeah, a lot of traffic on that one. Pretty good defense, too. Brandon Gunn, number 23, the freshman safety. He did more of a good job of kind of bodying up Young that time.
Jair Young, who scored the 75-yard touchdown earlier on this quarter. And he will stay on for this special teams play. The other number 9 is safety Blake Smith, but he is wearing number 96 for this particular play. Meanwhile, there is no return man back deep. And so I think this is Jalen Burton running on for the punt return. That number 1, and not Latrell Morrell, who has not returned a punt this season. A little bit of a wide snap, but Mullen gets it away. From the 22, here's Burton, tripped up.
It's great coverage there.
That's Trayvon West, a starting wide receiver down there. And also for Tarleton State, the Aubrey Hood, a reserve defensive back.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Defense, number 23, 15-yard penalty. It's an automatic first down.
And to make matters worse, Tarleton State gets to keep the ball.
Oh, man.
It's been a shoot yourself in the foot type of night. Again, he's well known for it. He says it every single time there's a microphone in front of his face. Head coach Joel Taylor for West Georgia. We've got to stay away from self-inflicted negatives. Got to stay away from sins, and there have been some sins tonight for the Wolves.
Yeah, it has. And, you know, you really can't do that, especially on the road. You can't do that in really any game, but I think it's even more prevalent when you play the Texans because they really don't have a whole lot of things that they give up. You know, they're good on special teams. We're seeing that. We know how good they are on defense, and at any moment on offense, they can go to the house and with a big strike. So you have got to almost play a perfect game playing the Texans.
James Page trying to take advantage of a tired defense, but there is a flag down behind the play. It's in the area where Jack Gallagher, the offensive tackle, was engaged with a defender. I think it was Mason Huntley. What this is all about.
Holding offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jack Gallagher, quality backup with 42 career games under his belt out of Fredericksburg, Texas, in the hill country of Texas, down 281. 6th year in a Tarleton State uniform. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So a 1st and 20 for Tarleton State midway through the 4th quarter. Went up 21-0 early. They haven't looked back. And James Page doesn't look back as he romps for 12 right up the gut to set up a 2nd down and 8 in West Georgia territory. How about this dude? He starts the year at quarterback. He comes back from Portland State. He didn't make the trip. He didn't make the roster for the trip. And they're like, hey, come here. We need you in the running back room. And all he's done since is be a huge part of this offense.
It's fascinating stories like that, right? And that's just a testament to Coach Witten and his staff to identify talent, you know, keeping him around, but then utilizing him in certain areas, and one of them obviously being the quarterback position, putting him back there in the Wildcat. It's something that they haven't done, and now with him, they're able to expand the playbook of this offense.
And he's just got instinctive running skills, falling just shy of the 1st down there.
You know, he kind of reminds me of a small kind of half size of Deebo Samuel, because Deebo Samuel, you know, even when he was in college and now obviously playing with the Commanders, they put him all over the field. They can line him up in the running back. You know, in the years prior when he first came into the league, Deebo Samuel was taking snaps at quarterback and doing the Wildcat, different things. I think Page has a lot of that in him, the way he kind of runs, his build, the way he can, you know, get those tough yards, and then the explosiveness as well.
Yeah, he's compact too, kind of like Deebo. So 3rd down and 1. And James Page is going to get it with a little lead block from Victor Gabalis, who runs interference, a pickup of 2 and a 1st down.
Well, if I'm Coach Witten, I'm going to say, hey, 11 in purple, get out of the way, please. Get out of the way. We got guys that can do the blocks.
Hey, he's a football player.
I get it.
He's a football player.
We want to ease him back into the season, right? And you got to be careful. But I get it. You know, I was a quarterback too. I wanted to get in there and mix it up as much as I could. I fault him for the effort, man. I love him.
And he's a guy that's been itching to get back on the field ever since injuring himself about a month ago. Page to the right side. And this is just a grinding drive for Tarleton State as they try to put the cherry on top of a homecoming effort here in Stephenville. A 7-yard grind for James Page.
See, I like that right there. That's mutual respect. You know, you look at Page, he's dapping up Courtney Kelly. That's good football, man. You know, no matter what the score is, man, it's the brotherhood of playing college football. You give respect, and these guys still playing hard. And I mean, look at the build. You know, he's built like a truck around the legs. And every time he's getting contact, John, watch him just fall forward. He never rarely goes backwards. Everything is always falling forward.
Oh, absolutely. And running, you know, over his feet, leaning down. Another pickup for a 1st down for James Page. I mean, he carried the ball 30 times last week at Utah Tech and became only the 9th player in Tarleton State history with 4 touchdowns scored in a game.
And that's just impressive, right? I mean, you got to have the conditioning, but you got to be tough, because at some point in time, those 30 carries are not going to be pretty. You're going to have 1 and 2 yard, you know, kind of stops, and his defense is going to pounce on you. But there's going to be those times when you have some space. You need to get loose. He's done that. He did that last week. He's done it a couple times tonight.
This is his 20th carry tonight, and he's stronger than ever. Inside the 20 and down to the 11-yard line. A tough son of a gun, James Page.
And that right there was right on time, too. I mean, look at the toughness. He goes up in there. I thought he was done here.
Yeah.
But the strength, he just kind of lowers himself, and he's underrated at how strong he is with his lower body. And you just see tacklers bounce off of him time and time again, and they just can't get a clean shot on him. That's a nice combination right there for a running back. I guess you can call him an athlete utility back, because he does just about everything in all positions.
And Tarleton State does make the change at quarterback, bringing in Greek. Braylon Bridges with the carry, and then finishing a block here is Danny Joyner. There was already a flag down, then Joyner finished the play, and another flag comes in. Meanwhile, Joyner is trying to affix his helmet to his head. Sort this thing out.
There was a flag that came in a little bit late, even after the play was whistled dead.
Absolutely, and so you may have a during play and the post play. Are they offsetting or not?
Coach Witten's out there almost at the bottom of the numbers trying to figure out what's going on. And he said to Kendra at the beginning of, or at the end of the first half, you know, he felt like they played pretty clean. I'm sure he wants to kind of keep that the same here as
We have fouls on both teams on the play that would be enforced. Holding offense, number 44. It's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 41. Have the distance penalty. It's going to be an automatic first down.
Yeah. And if one's during the play that you enforce, and then one was post-play, and obviously an automatic first down. So Tarleton State's going to keep the drive moving here as Daniel Greek is into the matchup for the second time tonight. You see his numbers last time out with 69 yards through the air in a workmanlike effort at Utah Tech, but he did run for a touchdown in that game.
He's such a good quarterback, in my opinion. And, you know, if Gabalis wasn't here, John, I mean, Tarleton State would be pretty good. And they have shown it. You know, they'd be good. But it goes back to what I've said a couple times, embarrassment of riches. You've got two elite quarterbacks in this conference. Gabalis is nationally ranked, obviously. And now you've got two quarterbacks at any moment in time. If one of them has to go, you still don't do anything different. You got to still feel good about it.
Greek on first down here, offers it to Braylon Bridges, and Bridges runs into his own man, basically, a 3-yard pickup. You know, the best thing about Daniel Greek is that Todd Witten says he's just a guy that all he cares about is Tarleton State winning. He doesn't care about stats, playing time, whatever. Daniel Greek is in it for the team, and it shows.
And I love that about him. That's that unselfish mentality that you have to have, and it's all about winning, because quarterbacks, you've seen it from time to time, you've heard about it at different places across the country. If one doesn't play and he feels like he's a starter, what does he do? He's up out of there. He's going somewhere else, but not Greek. He's staying here with the team and wants to win.
Braylon Bridges has been here since the transition started. And Braylon Bridges is in the end zone, a guy who's been through 3 knee surgeries during his career, losing season after season. As he's worked his way back, he sprints for 7 and a score. Tarleton State is over 40.
Yeah, that's such a good story there. Just perseverance, staying with it, not ever giving up. That's a well-deserved TD there. Braylon Bridges.
His first touchdown of the season, his second game played. 6th different player to score a touchdown tonight for Tarleton State in a 45-10 lead.
That's a nice block up front, the offensive line. That's a couple little ISO blocks. Here it is, ground level. See big number 60 there, Hunter Smith, AKA Big Country, doing what he does. Is going to work.
For Tarleton State is their 6th straight game of scoring 40 or more. They're the 4th highest scoring team in FCS, coming in, averaging a tick over 47 a contest. They've been pretty much unbeatable under Todd Witten when scoring 40 plus over the years, as you might expect, but they have done it a lot under Todd Witten.
With that 500 yards of offense under Coach Witten, they've been 41-3 since he's been here when they exceed 500 yards. Now they're at about 456. Now I don't know if they're going to be able to get to that, but nonetheless, when this offense does what they've done tonight, obviously score points, they get to that 45, 47 mark. I agree with you, John. They're nearly unbeatable.
This is one of the better defenses in the UAC, and there have been times where the Wolves have performed well tonight. You think about the 5 sacks that they had, but just eventually the depth of Tarleton State and the physicality of this Texans team breaks you down no matter who you are.
Right, and you know, we talked about the Wolves. This is the 15th ranked rushing defense in the nation at the FCS level. Tarleton State has 188 yards rushing in the game tonight. And not by coincidence. That is just, this offense is at an elite level. And even when they don't play their perfect game, they still have ways of exploiting the defense and making you play if you are not fundamentally sound on all three levels.
2:33 left. Backup quarterback in for West Georgia. The man who got it done last week, it is Colton Fitzgerald. And on the run, he misses on this one, but he does get hit late here. And Tarleton State may have picked up a personal foul. Let's see.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 30, 15-yard penalty. It's an automatic first down.
I say number 30, but I believe it was 33, Jay Henry in the area.
It's tough for Colton Fitzgerald to get into the game, and he's kind of feeling what Davin Widener has been kind of experiencing the entire game, and it's a little bit of what he did last week against Abilene Christian. I thought he played a very good game. I mean, anytime you throw for 279 yards, that's a pretty good game. You completed over 50% of your passes.
But he throws this one, and it is picked off by Les Odamara. Odamara saw it the whole way, called the fair catch, makes that reception in right field, if you will. And Tarleton State nabs their 5th turnover of the night. Quite a capper.
I mean, that's just incredible that this team somehow, some way, finds a way every single game to take the ball away. And then this one here is obviously an ill-advised pass. This is just where Colton Fitzgerald, Owen Dupree just not on the same page. And you can see Owen Dupree at the bottom. He's like, where are you throwing it, man?
And Tyrone Nix, the defense isn't terribly exotic. How do they do this week in and week out? Force 4 and 5 turnovers every week.
I think it's one, we talked about it, it's coached into him, but I think Tyrone Nix has a tendency of changing the picture right as the ball is snapped for a quarterback. And if you're not, an elite passer to where, this is what you do, I want to drop back 30, 40 times, it can really mess up a quarterback that's not accustomed to those defenses kind of changing the look at the snap.
Overall for the season, they are forcing 3 turnovers a game on average. This is the 8th game. They forced 24 turnovers. By the way, the first carry tonight for D'Angelo Rosemond, and also a new quarterback in the game as we hit the 2-minute timeout.
Timeout on the field.
It's Jaden Pete. But Tarleton State got off to an early start against West Georgia, and they haven't let up. And welcome back into Stephenville. 2-minute timeout. Tarleton State wrapping up a big night, 45-10, leading on West Georgia. John Little with LaDarren McClain and Kendra Sheehan. Stay tuned. We've got a post-game interview coming up with Kendra for you. 2 tough road games coming up for Tarleton State after this one. EKU, they are always tough under Walt Wells next week. And then after that, going to Abilene Christian in an arch rivalry matchup. So it only gets tougher from here for Tarleton State.
Yeah, and you got to take care of business against the Colonels next week.
Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. D'Angelo Rosemond. Is he going to make it? Almost. A hustle play to bring him down at the 2-yard line. I thought it was a house call for D'Angelo Rosemond. Look at this.
Well, you better wrap these guys up. And you can see the missed tackle by Brandon Gunn. Now, keep in mind, Rosemond at one point in time was one of the lead backs for Tarleton State.
Yeah.
So he is no slouch by any means. And there you go, showing you his ability to get there. And Rosemond at one point in time was one of the best kickoff returners, and he's showing you some speed there.
And is he? And Tarleton State's just going to kneel on this. And so Sean Ferguson, the freshman quarterback, literally saved 6 coming from all the way across the field. So you bring D'Angelo Rosemond down. But that's the embarrassment of riches that Tarleton State has.
I'm telling you, there's just no let up.
I mean, you're exactly right.
There is no let up. There is no slack.
So Tarleton State's going to end up rushing for 250, passing for 260-something, and 522 of total offense.
And what did we talk about a while ago?
500 yards.
500 yards is the number, man. They're literally unbeatable. So now they're going to go 42-3 under Coach Witten, and they're over 500 yards of offense. That is remarkable. And you can go across the country at any level and find a team like that. Email me, please. Let me know who those teams are. Absolutely. With that kind of record with their coach, because I want to know.
3 separate running backs with 60 yards or more. You had all the guys pitching in with sacks this evening for Tarleton State. I mean, it's not just, a team that's led by one guy over here, one guy over there. It is a deep team. It is a team that brings it 100% of the time, and that'll be the final kneel down. This is truly one of the best teams in FCS football that Todd Witten has built over the last few years, and they moved to 8-0 on the season.
And quite honestly, Don, I don't think they played their best game. I still think they've got things that they can improve and get better. That's the best part about the team, in my opinion. As deep as they are, they're still chasing. They're still hungry. There's still things to fix. And that's how you can do it on the way to a championship. And I think this team is certainly built the right way. Now, it's going to be a tough game next week. You can't overlook the Colonels, even though you're looking at the Wildcats, your rival coming up. But this team is built for that.
Yeah, Tarleton State, as the fireworks go off on homecoming, they have shown they are built for it. They have survived every test and not just passed it. They have blown out every opponent this year, sans the Army Black Knights, beating that FBS team in double overtime. But every other team, it has been a waxing of the highest order. Let's throw it down to Kendra Sheehan with our player of the game. It was a big night for the defense, so we got to talk to Angelo Anderson.
Angelo, this team just held West Georgia to just 10 points tonight. How was this defense able to be so stifling?
We really just came in and we really wanted to make a point of emphasis of doing our job and just playing together. The last couple of weeks we didn't feel like we played our best, and today I felt like we got back on the right track with that.
You had 2.5 sacks tonight. How were you able to get to the quarterback?
Just playing, trusting coach, playing, and just having a feel for it. Sacks oftentimes come when you're just working. A lot of times they're not just going to come to you, so I just had to be ready when my moment came.
How have you been putting in that work so when the moment came, you were ready?
That was all off season. I've been training since last September, so for me it was just a lot of hard work that I'm glad that finally, I was able to show what I can do out here.
You also had a forced fumble. What was the extra edge that you had tonight?
Nothing really, just playing hard, playing with my teammates, for real, for real.
Looking at this season, you transferred in from Tulane, you spent 5 years there. What has it been like to be a part of this program that has the buy-in and the winning mentality? You guys are 8-0.
It's truly special to be here and be a part of what we got here at Tarleton. It's really a dream come true. I didn't see this for myself a year ago. So I'm just enjoying it, for real, for real.
Congratulations, enjoy this one.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Absolutely. Guys, back up to you.
One of the nicest dudes, Angelo Anderson, our player of the game tonight, in a walkover win for Tarleton State on homecoming. A wire-to-wire effort and a 45-10 victory. And so for LaDarren McClain and Kendra Sheehan, this is John Little giving you the final score. Number 3, Tarleton State bounces West Georgia 45-10. All games airing on the ESPN network, so streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of the UAC and ESPN. Good night from Stephenville.